Hello, and welcome to the first cold intro of possibly a few for Monday Night Bloodbath. Let's see. So, yeah, this is our first episode. We're going to be talking politics and whatever that means, and it's going to be probably a lot of the presidential race because, well, that's kind of a big deal. Let me introduce the panel here. Nerdy Neo, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, doing well. Glad to be here. This will be the first time I'm really ever talking about anything other than video games, so this will be interesting.
He's come out of his gamer cave.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And Shock, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm really excited for the audience to learn my political affiliations.
Yeah, so like that's kind of the plan. Like this is the first episode. The three of us know each other. We've streamed with each other and everything, but we don't really necessarily know where we're coming at from politics. I'm sure we all have. I'm pretty sure we all generally agree, but there might be more of the finer details where it won't be a complete echo chamber. I think we're all fairly, for lack of a better term, conservative. I hate these labels. I don't know.
I hate them too. This is why this show's gonna be great. We all hate labels.
I hate these labels so much. When my friend, I was talking to a friend a long time ago. We were on a road trip, and he's like, "What are your political things?" It's like, I just think everything should be legal. He's like, "Oh, you're a libertarian," and like a piece of my soul left my body that day when he like put a label on that. So, anyways, you know what? Let me pull that up real quick, and I forgot what I planned on asking, but let's start with you, Dirty Neo. What was like your political awakening?
Yeah. Before I touch on that, I just need to address Professor Savage Dad. I'm also from California, so I'm obviously also a trans-political degenerate castaway.
Oh, you know what? Let's
North
say
doesn't count.
Don't have to get the chat. So we have Professor Savage Dad is in here. I have no idea what this came in at. What is that? 7:30
about 7 minutes late.
Yeah, 7:30 my time. We had plenty of time. We were not late. We have Acid stopping by saying Cheerios bland makes you want to poo.
Very bland.
That's half the point of Cheerios.
I'm assuming that was on Get Ranked yesterday.
Yes, it was a cereal show. It was absolutely amazing. Shock and I agreed on a lot of things. He wasn't on the panel, but I liked some of his takes and some of his takes I did not. I forget which one was his worst.
Yeah, so we all learned that Dermy's grandma never cut little bananas in his Cheerios and didn't hug them. So
was it? Yeah, who was it? You that said
yeah,
like Cheerios because his grandma never hugged him.
Yeah. Well, I said that to Adam because Adam was like best cereal is Cheerios, and we were just like, no, what are you talking about? And then I made fun of him, and I was like, did your grandma cut little bananas in your Cheerios? And then Adam was like, yeah, because my grandma loves me. And then Dermy's like, my grandma didn't do that.
So we also had Fractured Filter coming in to say hi before he went to bed because he goes to work in like 5 hours or something like that. And then we've got Mr. Brad Burnett, the Duke Devil.
What's up, dude?
Hey, I hope you guys talk about how DeSantis is going to beat Trump in New Hampshire. Oh, what was that? What happened? Yeah. So yesterday, it's Sunday, right? It's Sunday. Nothing happens on Sundays. I'm sitting here. I'm trying to work on a Power World server, trying to figure out what that looks like so people can connect it to my house from their networks, and I don't have the rest of the internet trying to attack my network and all of that lovely stuff. And all of a sudden, I see Ron DeSantis dropped out of the race and endorsed Trump. Like, I would say he was more negative about Nikki Haley than he was in his endorsement of Trump. But anyways.
Yeah, it's like, when does political stuff like that happen on a Sunday?
Sunday, and it was like Sunday
when they don't want you to
early
know
evening. It's like everyone's sitting down for dinner. Maybe that's why, because he was thinking
this was a bending of the knee to Lord Trump, and you do that in front of an audience, not behind doors.
Does
That
I
was
don't
just
know
the
if-
most
Well-
shameful.
He already
Isn't-
proved that he's kind of
You know
spineless.
what's funny? So like I've got the notes for the show, right? You guys have seen them. I have every candidate, including Chris Christie, because we started planning this a few weeks ago. I have a section for every candidate on here except for Ron DeSantis. And you know why? Because he's boring.
You're
boring.
He
Great minds.
is.
But like,
Even Chris Christie's more entertaining.
well, and the only thing I have on Chris Christie is the hot mic thing, and really that's kind of like that's got like an evergreen bit, and we'll get into that.
The Donald Duck bit lost him the election. That was so bad.
That was so bad.
Really, you
God-
think that was
God-
what lost him the
God.
election? It wasn't anything to do with not being relatable or
I mean,
walking
it turned to a
human.
1% chance to a 0%.
Hey
Holy
Sam, how you
Samuel.
doing? Hey, you know what? He might be able to join us sometimes. That would
Oh,
be
yeah.
cool.
Oh, dude, would he retweet? Oh, we're gonna talk about yeah.
Oh wait, when's DeSantis speech? Oh yeah, quoted Churchill, but apparently it wasn't Churchill. It was an old Budweiser ad from the 30s. I heard. Yeah, I saw that. I saw Tim Pool did a video on that, and he even found like the old Budweiser ad that it came from, apparently. But also, like I saw a community note on it where it said that this quote is often misquoted as Churchill, so that happens a lot with Churchill. One of my favorite Churchill quotes is if you're not a liberal in your 20s, then you have no heart. And
That
if
was
you're-
Churchill.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
And if you're not a conservative in your 30s, you have no brain. But you see, now the thing is that's wrong. It's not and, it's but. If you're not if you're in your 30s and not a conservative, so that changes the whole thing, and it's kind of like it's more derogatory than it sounds. But if you
Yeah.
change the and with the but,
Mm-hmm. But even the Miami Herald took down DeSantis's campaign.
huh?
Like even like the Miami Herald is like a Florida newspaper. They
They're the
came
ones
out
who
with
broke
an
the Epstein
article,
shit.
huh?
They're the ones who broke the Epstein stuff.
Yeah, but they were just breaking down like why DeSantis's campaign was so bad and how it failed.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, dang, even your own state is just like, yeah, dude, you were terrible.
A lot of people, from what it seems, a lot of people out there feel kind of betrayed because he went and did this.
Yeah,
and that's
you
not-
abandoned your state.
yeah.
Yeah, got reelected and then stopped being a governor.
Well, he got reelected because he was part of the MAGA affiliation, right?
We're gonna peek at you in the shower. Oh, because I'm gonna have a public facing server, then
Yeah.
gonna do weird things. All right. well, good wordplay there. So yeah, let's get into this. Nerdy Neo, what would you say was like your kind of like political awakening?
Yeah, so I legitimately didn't follow politics at all until probably like 2018. And like people would always ask me like, "Hey, what do you think about, this and that going on in the world?" I'm like, "I don't know, I don't care, it doesn't really affect me." But during Trump's first term, I started getting following a lot of people on YouTube and finding a lot of great sources for information. I never followed any of the news either. So not only did I not like follow politics, but like I never ever watched the news either. So I don't know like really anything that was going on like anywhere unless I heard it like second or third hand or whatever. But about 2018, started following a bunch of YouTubers and getting not connected, like I don't know these people, but getting introduced, I should say, to a lot of political people who aren't bought and paid for and are independent. And so that's when I started really seeing what was really going on. All the corruption stuff, all this crap that they're trying to destroy Trump over, all of this stuff. And since then I've followed a lot of it very closely and become quite political. Although, I never talk about it. This, like I said, this is the first time I'm talking politics, on my channel. The reason I started my channel is just I just want to talk about video games. So this is kind of a new thing for me. So, but yeah, I grew up in a conservative family, and kind of like what we were talking about, hate labels. Like I hate the term Republican because of how spineless and cowardly they've been. They don't stand up for anything. So I don't like even saying that I'm a Republican, but I am okay saying that I'm a conservative, because I think that's not as doesn't have as negative a connotation as Republican does.
Well, I mean, Republicans just a party, and there's always going to be different wings of influence that fall under a party. But when you say you're conservative, you're being very specific in your belief, or we'll use the word ideology, even though I hate that word, but that's what it is. You're not saying, "Oh, I back this party. I'll vote red no matter what." You're saying, "No, my beliefs fall in line with this specific wing," which is like the majority wing. But even then, not anymore.
It's like it typically fall in line with Republican stuff, but not always. Like I took a hi kitty cat. Like when I was, I don't know, like in college, probably I took where do you fall on like the political spectrum test, and because I was learning about some of these, I'd recently learned about a lot of these other we basically have a two-party system. There are those other parties, but not like they ever really get elected or anything to anything other than like local government. So I didn't really know what any like those other parties stood for.
Well, even those other parties, if they have a chance, they run independent. You know what I mean? Or they decide Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, so I took like a test and asked you like, hey, in this situation, where do you what do you think about this situation? Answer all these questions. Like, oh, here you fall into like this party, and I actually got libertarian.
Mm-hmm.
So I've definitely learned a lot more about libertarian in the last couple of years than what I thought libertarian was. So I don't know if there's something in between Republican and libertarian, but. So, what do you mean by that?
There's big L and there's little L.
So big L is like the Libertarian Party, and little L is not the Libertarian Party, because the Libertarian Party has some serious issues. Like
they're pretty liberal.
Woke
they're
thing
communist.
as well.
Yep.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
That seems very not libertarian.
It's basically like a centralized idea that communities can govern themselves how they want, but they still really like subscribe to like inclusivity and yada yada yada, versus little L is like, I really only believe in like 3 laws. Like little L is like actual libertarianism, where your belief is the government is responsible for withholding your property rights, and that's it, versus like big L, which is like the government's responsible from letting certain areas govern the way that they want to govern, and it's basically just like mini socialism.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about
it's stupid,
but
so
it definitely sounds more like I'm in line with little L libertarianism.
Because what most people do is like they say like oh, I'm libertarian, but then you kind of run into some potholes and be like, all right, well, this I don't want this or this, and once you agree with a certain amount of like regulation, then you're now a conservative at that point. You're not a libertarian anymore.
So so like the 2020, the Libertarians had a presidential candidate, Jo Jorgensen, and at one point in time, she was like on Twitter essentially saying that people shouldn't be able to criticize her. And
oh, you're a communist. God.
Yeah, that was like very, very anti-libertarian, and that's why I did not vote for her.
And that's when Dave Smith came up, and they were like, "Hey, you're not libertarian." The Mises Caucus.
Yeah, so the Mises Caucus. I don't know everything about how this all works either, because it's all fairly new to me, because I never gave a fucking shit for the longest time. But like Mises Caucus just recently put someone up in charge of that's like not as dumb as they've been in the past. I don't know. I don't care. If they announce their candidate or whatever, I'll listen to their candidate and decide if I vote for them or not. But okay, uh, Shock. What was kind of your awakening?
Obama blowing up kids.
Ooh,
Because my mom was very political. She hated Bush. And I watched a lot of stand-up comedies with her, and there were a lot of political jokes that I would just be around. And then as I got older, during like when Obama was president, I was like, they used to make fun of Bush for doing that. Oh, Bush did that. Everyone always like hated Bush for X, Y, and Z, and Obama was doing all the same things. And I was just
Mhm.
like super confused because
That they were
Republic-
praising him.
yes, Republican bad, Democrats, whatever. Which I don't like Republicans, but I would say that I've kind of always been into politics for mainly the humor of it. Like I love stand-up comedies, I love jokes, and there's endless of material making fun of politics. It's just I've always found it entertaining.
yeah. Sorry, I was.
Oh, you're good. So I would say my ideal. Oh wait, that's the libertarian person. People are in.
Well, yeah. So my political awakening was kind of like twofold. I had a mini awakening.
Mhm.
In the 2016 election, my ex-wife started hanging out with this girl who was a big Bernie supporter.
Mm.
And I was like, wait, that's socialism. Socialism's bad. I was like, no. We can't be having this. So I didn't really care about Trump. I knew I didn't want Hillary, but I didn't really care about Trump. I thought Trump was more of a meme.
Mhm.
Even after he won the election, I thought it was a giant meme. So I voted for Gary Johnson.
Mhm.
I think that was his name. I don't remember. But like, and then like a year later, after Trump was president, I think I told this to Shock, but I was called a white supremacist for saying I don't believe in taxes. Like I think taxes are wrong.
Yeah, 'cause those two things are so
Well-
so connected.
So this was coming from a Native American person who was like, all the minorities need welfare, and so they need your rich white ass.
You natives don't pay taxes either. What are you talking about?
So he did because he paid taxes because he worked for a public school, right?
Oh yeah.
Like if you got a job, you're paying taxes.
No, yeah. But there are a lot of like native land that America's not allowed to touch, and they don't pay taxes. There's one in Washington. There's one in like the Dakotas, but there are lots of land that the government America doesn't mess with, and it's owned by the natives people, and they don't pay taxes.
Yeah, we argued for a good while about why I think taxes is bullshit and why he thinks everyone needs to pay more taxes because of all the poor people.
What
Oh
would
my
your
gosh, this
what
person's
would your
nuts.
natives think of that?
Yeah.
God.
Wait. So yeah, exactly, Duke. Wait. The argument was all minorities need welfare. Sounds kind of racist. That's exactly what it was.
No,
This dude.
no, it's reverse racism. It's not
Yeah.
racism.
Well, yeah. I don't know what it is. It's just racism all around. He's like, he thinks all white people are rich, and he thinks that they need to pay for all the colored people. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
'cause
then he thinks that
there's
none of
no
the colored
wealthy
people
minorities and
do
there's
their
no
own thing.
poor white people.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
I found out later on that the dude was in a really, really tough spot. I won't put him on blast. Well, fuck it. No
Oh,
one really-
that's always how it
he was
is,
just
man.
he was just fired. He was just let go from his job and was in the middle of a divorce.
Too many people use politics as like an outlet to get their own like problems out on people. It's
Yeah.
retarded.
He had just been like, so he was a naked pooper.
Oh,
What
I
was
guess
that?
there's
bottom
people that have
or-
to like completely strip down. And
that's only after I eat like Mexican food, which is every day. So maybe I am a naked pooper.
so
Oh.
yeah, he didn't lock the door at work.
Ah, you don't do that at work, you weirdo.
So he was angry for a
Hey.
lot of things, and I was the target that evening.
Yeah,
I was the picture of white supremacy that he could take down that evening.
pretty much. The boogeyman.
So the next question is, what would you guys like to see happen in the government? Let's start it off with Neo.
Yeah, that's kind of a loaded question. Maybe one that like stands on Seinfeld.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of Seinfeld, so I wouldn't be able to answer.
Oh,
that.
Steinfeld's the best.
If you could take what if you could take one thing about the government and change it, what would that one big thing that you would like to see done?
Want me to go first or?
Yeah, go ahead. Shock,
Okay.
you
Yeah,
go
go ahead.
So I kind of have two answers. I don't know. It's like a chicken and the bird, or the bird, or the
Chicken and the
chicken
egg.
and the
chicken
egg.
and the egg
The
came.
chicken is a bird.
Chicken did, yeah, it's called growing up. For one, there needs to be a rearrangement of the political parties because too many classical liberals are now being forced to vote under the Republican Party, right? And then too many progressives have successfully taken over the Democratic Party, which is fine by me.
Co-opted it.
Huh?
They co-opted it.
Yeah, pretty much. So you have like the establishment, like that are just like, the uniparty that are keeping things going so that both parties benefit. The Democrats are just socialists at this point, which you're allowed to have a socialist party. You are allowed to vote for socialism. That's fine. But the Republican Party is just filled with populism. Way too many liberals and conservatives and like religious Republicans are
Rhinos.
all under the same party right now. There's way too much. So there needs to be like a different, like we need to like the labels need to change.
You want more restrictive labels. You want not restrictive, but you want to put people into smaller boxes.
I guess
Yeah,
no.
I see what you're saying. Like because so like you're saying like there's those
That's a
those
good one,
liberals who feel politically homeless. That because like they see the left and it's just moved further left, the leftists.
The Overton window has shifted so far.
And so they don't want any part of that. So they kind of find themselves relating more with conservatives, and therefore they get called conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the 90 Christian conservatives who have had a resurrection over the past few months with their Puritan outlooks on things, which is more of a which is more like the leftists, I would say, with their authoritarian, we should do things like the Bible says type stuff with rules
yeah.
and all of that.
No, well, that's the other half of my answer is where I want like the Clinton Foundation gone. I want like the Obama like deep state gone. I want the Dick Cheneys and all the establishments gone so that the actual populists can actually have power within the Republican Party. And then the Democrat Party is pretty much the only people that support the Democratic Party are progressives. So they're going to be the minority. Too many of us just agree on the same things. Like more people, we say, "Oh, we're conservative. Oh, I'm classically liberal." No, we're just populist. A lot of us agree on the same things, and we're dominantly under the Republican Party. So if we get all the establishments away, the Republican Party would just be the populist party, and the Democrat Party would just be the minority progressive party. That's kind of like my complicated answer.
I kind of like some of that because I agree with you. The leftists are socialist, and I think that they should be called that. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to call them socialists. I want to call them communists.
Yeah, they're communists.
Because socialism is like communism for babies. And so I'd like to use the word commie as often as possible when applicable with these people.
Well, America is already pretty freaking socialist. Like, I don't know how much more.
we have what they
socialism
call
you
a
want
mixed
here.
economy.
You're a communist if you're pushing for anything more. So that's what I mean by my very poorly worded answer is the establishment needs to be gone so that the Republican Party is basically just the populist party and the Democrat Party is its minority progressive party.
Now I would challenge the idea of the Republican thing because, like Nerdy Neo said, the rhinos. What if you're the rhino, Neo, because you never were actually a Republican, and all these nasty people that we call rhinos were actually the Republicans this whole time? And
I like that for sure. Who's the rhino in the Republican Party? It's Trump because no one supports him. Like the Republicans are all just against him. They have TDS. They support Democrats more. Nikki Haley is supported by Democrats. You know, they find
Right,
every
so that would make
excuse.
Nikki Haley the
That
rhino.
would
'cause
make Nikki
rhino
Haley a
is,
rhino.
Republican in name only is what it stands
Yeah.
for. So
Yeah, I mean, no one in the Republican Party supports Trump.
You could say Trump is Republican in name only too, because
That's
like
what- yeah.
he's like Bill Clinton.
I see what you mean. But I think that's because the Republicans don't stand, at least in my mind, for what the Republican Party should be standing for.
No,
And
they
that
don't.
is what Trump is standing for.
Yeah,
And so the people against Trump, in my eyes, that call themselves Republican, and I consider rhinos.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, I would. For me, the reason I like the reason of people who actually care about this country being the rhinos is because I never liked the Republicans either.
Mhm.
I was raised in a conservative household, a very Christian household. I went to a Christian school. My dad still goes to church. Like all of that stuff, very conservative. And then I did the whole late teens, early 20s. Didn't really care. I never claimed to be political, like either side of the aisle, but I definitely was more punk rock and more liberal in my thoughts when it came to like freedom of speech and stuff, because that's who believed in freedom of speech back then.
Yeah.
Were the liberals.
Well, kind of. They still believe in censorship.
They did, yeah, because you go on Tipper Gore with the video games and all that stuff. But like that's been my whole thing is I'm not, I don't consider freedom shouldn't be a political issue. Freedom
Right.
is a human issue,
It should be bipartisan.
but it's ran by
not.
governments. It's determined by governments, and that's all horse shit. They should get the whole point of the Constitution and everything is to keep the government out of freedoms. And
Yeah.
they've gone against that.
Oh yeah, dude. They're government's like the biggest corporation of all time.
Duke
That
has
was-
an excellent example of something he would
I was
change.
going to bring that up.
Yep, get rid of the omnibus budgets. Go back
Hate
to
Oh,
the
yeah.
appropriation bills.
It's
Oh,
for
so
yeah.
dirty.
You know who agreed with you for a hot second? God damn it, AOC.
AOC. She was
So
into
she
that.
was told
She was
not to.
actually she was going to do a bill with Matt Gaetz on that one.
Matt Gaetz. Yep.
Wow.
Matt Gaetz was
I
like,
missed that.
"All right, you're gonna come to my hotel. We're gonna talk about this bill," and then never mind.
So Duke kind of stole my idea of something that I would like to see change. I'd like to get rid of a ton of departments. Javier
Oh,
Milei
yeah.
went into freaking Argentina and removed like
Afaya.
a little
need that
over
guy.
half of their departments. Like, we don't need the Department of Education. I hate school. I hate
Private-
schools.
Yeah. I still have not heard one counter argument to why we shouldn't have, the school vouchers for school choice.
Oh, it's because you need to keep the minorities in the poor areas.
That's not a very strong argument.
I know. I'm saying that's their argument. They won't say it out loud, but that's what it is. You're not allowed to invest in your kid's future. If you live in a particular area, you cannot use your taxpayers' money, like the money that you give to your state, to send your kid to a school that you want.
Would you say that's like a form of how they keep the elites?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. And what's his name? The Young Turks guy, the big dude. I forgot his name. Cenk Uygur.
That sounds right.
you
I know the
familiar with
name,
him?
and I hear Young Turks a lot, but
Yeah,
I
Jake,
don't
yeah,
recall.
the horse fucker.
Yeah, yes, the horse fucker. He let it slip too, where he was talking about like bad areas and bad areas for school, where he was just like, "Hey, if the area's not good, maybe you should move to a nicer area." I was like, "Oh,
What?
Wow.
Just buy an electric car.
just buy electric car." Yeah,
You know
just
what? They
move
hate
to a nicer
competition. They
area."
hate fucking competition. They don't want.
Don't you
They'll
guys have
lose.
phones?
They don't want people to have to like actually try to be good. Like, because the school voucher, all that is that makes all the schools compete against each other at being better to get the money that they want.
Real quick, Savage Dad's right. It's classism, not racism, because
Class-
poor
yeah.
isn't,
Oh
Because
yeah.
if the minorities don't have anything keeping them down, then they don't have anything to keep saying that they're a victim.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about, especially in California, is like, oh yeah, I agree for sure. That comment was censored, by the way. That was not on the all live chat. It was on the
Oh,
alt chat.
really?
I didn't see that. I had to go to live chat and
Oh,
see that.
snap.
A lot of isms in there
Yeah.
that they probably didn't
Too
like.
many tisms.
You're triggering the flags on my channel, Samuel. I need you to calm down. So I would say he says socialism is an umbrella term both communism and fascism fall under. Okay. I could see that. It comes down to total government control of all aspects of life, aka totalitarianism.
Oh yeah.
Can you highlight the last thing Duke Devil said?
Yeah.
I want to touch on that. Like a great example of that is, like the left is like they love their Planned Parenthood, but the Planned Parenthood, like the origins are actual racism and trying to keep minorities numbers down, but yet the left is all about Planned Parenthood. It's like talk about an oxymoron.
Right. But like in California specifically, like, oh yeah, dude, Hale, what's up, man?
What's up, AJ?
Most poor people in California like are all white, but if you go to LA, they're all black. They all go to these cities
Well, when I hung
because
out
they're
in LA,
promised.
and I'm talking like downtown LA. I was when I lived in California, the very short amount of time I spent a decent amount of time in Los Angeles proper. There was everyone was there. Everyone was there. All color.
Very, very.
And there was no majority. It was a conglomeration. It was all spread across the whole board. And you know what? So this would have been Obama's first election, 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was fucking cool.
In LA?
Yeah. Everyone was super nice.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's just like they promise a lot to homeless people, right? Because they promise free needles, they promise free shelter, they promise free food, and then they just get caught up in the drugs, and then they're all naked on the streets. So that's the thing. It's a voting block.
So now that we've given you kind of some examples, Neo, what you got something you would like to see changed?
Well, one other thing I wanted to touch on, making an extremely nerdy reference to touch on that Shock was saying, because like one of the issues is where he's talking about like splitting them up into smaller labels, essentially, smaller boxes, because the left encapsulates so many different ideologies. But for the most part, the left is so, together, like they support each other, even if they don't support each other.
The left is always unified, no matter what.
They're very unified, but the right, there are a lot of infighting among each other, because if they don't agree on like everything, then they're going to fight each other, and it's very much like referencing Star Wars, back about 1,000 years before the movies, when Darth Bane came to become the one Lord of the Sith. The Sith were very infighting and always backstabbing each other, and that's what made them weak. And then the Jedi were all actually unified, and that's what made them strong. And so that's why Bane realized that they're very weak, and so he had to wipe them all out and start from scratch. So, but yeah, it's kind of made me think of how, in our world, the right is a lot of infighting, and the left are very unified.
How much of it is infighting and how much is it policing their own? Because as much as I hate infighting, a lot of times it is separating like the wheat and the weeds within each other.
Well, okay, so an example of that would be like Calendargate.
That's stupid.
That was so dumb.
That was stupid. Yeah, for sure.
Agreed. That was super dumb, and that was the purists coming out. And it was silly. The idea of a conservative beer calendar, cute and dumb at the same time.
Make money, that's fine, bro.
Yeah, one
thing
thing
is,
that I
though,
think a lot of people like were conflating is like just because you're conservative doesn't mean you're a Christian. It's
yeah.
like the two technically don't have anything to do with each other. Often Christians will be conservative, but you can definitely be conservative without being Christian. So it's
Well,
like, what's the
Oh, yeah,
problem?
that's true.
I don't know if you guys have seen
They think that.
the lady who's prosecuting Trump in Atlanta,
Is
Fannie
that
Willis.
Letitia James? Oh,
She
I've heard that name, but I don't.
yeah, so she's in church talking about, you know, like her good deeds and confessing her sins and all of this stuff. Like I didn't grab the clips, but um yeah, the Christianity covers the spectrum, the political spectrum as well, people.
Dude,
like
Christianity has been lost for a long time, which is why I hate Republicans, because they all claim to be Christians when they're not.
and yes,
Yeah.
Samuel is the local pagan in these neck of the woods, and he's conservative as well.
Just like
You say
Devil
Vince
Made Me
Spear the
Do It.
Christian? No, he's Jewish.
Oh, well, that's
Dun,
not
dun,
allowed.
dun.
Just kidding. I don't even care about the stupid calendar thing because
Yeah.
they're all TDS anyway. They're
It-
all
it-
like
it
it
was-
had nothing to do with.
The women freaking out over, like, okay, so one, the demonic thing, and like, so I pulled I
Such
pulled
an
the clip
overused
of
word.
what's that guy's name? Bryson Gray.
Bryson
Bryson
Gray.
Gray. Yeah, he's
He
a
was the one that-
moron.
I pulled a clip of him harassing his
His sister or his
it might have been his aunt. I
His
think it was
aunt.
his aunt.
auntie.
Who came over to his house or something wearing a dress that was kind of tight, and but it wasn't short. It wasn't short, and she wasn't, or her chest wasn't hanging out, right?
No, she
it
looked
was just
fine.
form fitting,
She looked fine.
which maybe too much form fitting for her size. That's besides the point. But he called her a harlot
Yeah, I know.
because and it wasn't like, and he believes this. I thought when I saw this he was joking
It was a
around.
joke.
He actually believes this stuff, and he's got his Bible verses and everything that supports his
Well,
belief.
he's in the
That's
music
fine.
industry, bro.
That's
Who knows
fine.
what he's
Yes.
seen?
Yeah, it's like immediately after Calendar Gate, where there was, Cake Gate, which was similarly stupid.
Yeah.
Oh well, the cake gate was funny too. That was a thirst trap. Nothing wrong with that. But like the people saying that it was all about a cake are also lying, because that cake was not in shot. Like,
Well,
you could barely see.
part of the problem is that when you're scrolling through it and you don't actually tap on it, you don't even see the cake. But when you tap on it, it shows the whole thing, and that's just the way Twitter crops videos.
Okay.
Mm.
Because it clearly doesn't look like it's in. I didn't care. I was like, okay, yeah, she's hot, whatever. So should we check in on our candidates?
Before we do, I'll
Let's
answer your question.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Haven't actually answered it yet. But yeah, I definitely agree with Duke Devil, 'cause that's one thing that I've said for a long time, not publicly or anything, but like the whole getting rid of the omnibus bill. It's like, why are we have to put all these 150 different things that we're spending money on all in one big bill? It's like, yes, I want to, it's either pass or not pass all of them. It's like, no, I want some of these to get money and I don't want others to get money. Like
Mhm.
I can't think of an example of what I want money to go to. I want money to go to veterans because they don't get the support they need. But I don't want money going to LGBT schools in Ukraine.
No, it was Pakistan.
There was
Pakistan.
gender
Yeah.
studies in Pakistan. Thank you,
Pakistan.
Trump,
Yes.
for making that possible.
Why do I have to say yes or no to all of this? I want to be able to
It's
say
because
yes
they
to
make
some of this and
deals
no
with
to
each
other
other.
stuff.
They'll
That
only
shouldn't happen.
The Democratic Party will only allow the Republican Party to get their votes if they make deals about other stuff.
Yeah, and you see, and that's where that whole spineless bit comes from with the Republicans.
Oh, yeah, they're the
because
worst.
it's the Republican. It's always the Republicans that are having to like fold in on stuff, and you never really hear like the Democrats. They give up some, but then they eventually get it years and years down the line, and the Republicans never walk it back. There's never any conserving from the conservative side.
Yeah,
It's always like just little step forward.
I feel like
no,
all that
go ahead.
money to Ukraine that like Republicans like voted for all was spent on just like impeaching the Speaker of the House. Like that's all that went through. It's like, hey, you're gonna let this vote go through because Democrats voted on that too.
Or
And
Kevin,
then
what was his name?
I forgot his name too. Another piece of shit.
McCarthy.
McCarthy.
Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I don't. That's just the way it looked to me because right after like they got that passed, then the same Republicans were voting on Ukraine bills after.
Yeah.
I was
It's
just like, what was the
Yeah.
whole point of getting your Speaker of the House up there just to vote on an omnibus bill that is going to give the Democrats what they want? Because it looks like an under the table handshake.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael Malice says Republicans are progressives going the speed limit.
you're
A
not wrong.
legendary quote,
Yes.
which I think he's actually quoting someone.
Probably. But yeah, the whole omnibus bills, stop sending all of our money to other countries when we have all these problems here that need to be resolved first. Obviously, the whole border situation.
Oh,
what
Kamala
with-
Harris?
Kamala Harris is supposed to be the border czar, and what has she
God.
done for the border? Absolutely nothing.
She went on The View. She's been vice president for 3 years, and she went on The View, and it was just like, we need to vote in someone that will do something about the border.
Like, you're the one supposed to be doing something.
You can do something about it. Oh.
Yeah, isn't she supposed to be the border czar or some shit?
Yeah. And has
Well,
she
at least
even been
she's
to the
not-
border? I don't know.
At least she's
I
not
think she
doing
went once.
people's
I think she
luggage.
finally went once.
I think she finally went after it looked bad because Trump went to the border before the actual administration did.
Do
I
not.
saw something where someone asked Biden if he was going to go to the border soon, and he said he just went, and then he got community noted that he drove by the border a year and a half ago.
He Medea'd it, bro. She went by the church. I'm gonna swing by the border. I got one of my favorite Ball Hall tacos, and then I went back.
Oh, there we go.
But-
It's not an under the table handshake. It's a very obvious reach around. Yeah, yeah.
They're so blatant about it. They don't even bother hiding it anymore. But
Well, yeah, they argue on TV, and then they go and they're friends when they think the cameras are off.
Oh,
Right.
bro, Obama dabbed up or Trump, right? They dabbed each other.
Possibly.
There's a video. Yep.
I remember him like hanging out with the Clintons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
But-
and that whole world is a whole nother world, like, because that was before Donald Trump was a politician. Like
They all loved
the Clintons
him.
when Clinton was president. When the Clintons were presidents,
You had it right.
yeah, because it was Hillary. It wasn't Bill that was running it back
Oh
then.
no, bro.
Um,
Bill's living his
Donald
best life.
Trump wasn't. I don't think Donald Trump was even close to considering president. He had thought about it, but like it wasn't like something
Yeah.
he was ever thought he would actually do.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I saw a clip of him being interviewed in like I don't know late '80s or early '90s, saying, "Hey,
Mhm.
would you ever run for president?" He's like, "Well, I don't want to, but if I feel like I need to, then I would." And obviously felt like I
What
need
was
to.
so weird about that because I had a report on that in school, right? We were covering the presidential rate in school, and y'all for a party that likes to call the other guys Russian toadies, the Dems sure like to throw around words like Caesar. Yeah,
And I believe that's literally the title that they gave Harris. Was
Yeah, border
czar.
czar.
Tsar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you
But
guys see the latest?
one other thing, just
Okay.
on what you were saying earlier about the Argentina president going and like clearing out all this stuff is like getting rid of all the corruption in like the FBI and CIA, NSA, whatever, all these agencies, like completely ignoring like terrorist activity that they have tips on to go and spy on school board meetings of parents that don't want alphabet stuff in their kids' libraries because those are the real
Yeah.
terrorists. Those are the real threats. Come on.
But even if you get rid of those agencies, you still have a form of secret service that can just be used by the government. So what's more important, like the agencies or the military industrial complex, dude? Like, do we let presidents vote in their what's it called? Not commanders, but like the what's his name? Dang it, I forgot his name.
Who?
The dude is in charge of the military. The I want to
General?
know about the
Commander in
generals.
chief?
Yeah, the generals, dude.
Well, yeah, I mean there is the commander in chief as well.
No, well, do we let the commander in chief vote in his own generals then? Because when a president comes into office, it's the deep state, it's the generals. Like, all right, so here's what we're doing in Syria. You're gonna get with the program, right? Like, how do you get rid of that?
Are you talking about the president's cabinet?
Yeah, no, not the cabinet, like the general, like Milley, like General Milley and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because the president gets elected and General Milley, who's been there for years, and all the other generals, they all right, president, this is what we're doing in Yemen. This is what we're doing with this. And you get with the program. How do you get rid of that? Do you let generals be
get rid of the undermining, the people who don't respect?
Yeah. Do you let the president pick his generals? I don't know how to get rid of the industrial complex like that, because the CIA and the intelligence agencies, they're being used by that deep state. Yeah. So even if you get rid of them, there are still secret services and those people are still there. You're not going to get rid of all this stuff just by getting rid of the CIA.
Good point.
So here's Samuel's contribution to the demonic calendar gate.
I like it.
That's demonic.
I would hope maybe you would ease into the straight tentacles, but bam, January, baby.
So did you guys see the latest Juicy Smollett incident that happened here over the weekend?
With actually Jussie Smollett, or
it involves one of our presidential candidates.
Yeah, let me know the name. Oh yeah. I did.
I don't think I've seen this yet.
All right, sweet. You're in for a treat.
Some racism tonight.
Oh, the racism. Okay, yes, I have seen this. Never mind.
A little brown girl.
I saw. Yes.
Let's check out the woman who everyone is pining for in the mainstream media. Motherfuckers.
We were the only Indian family in our small southern town. I was teased every day.
And in this instance, she does mean
Feather
Indian,
or Dot?
like 7-Eleven.
I'm pretty sure the Indians were the ones making fun of her.
Is that are we talking Feather or Dot here?
We're talking 7-Eleven taxi cab.
Okay.
For being brown. So anyone that wants to question it can go back and look at what I've said on how hard it was to grow up in the deep South as a brown girl. Anybody can look at my record and see when Walter Scott was shot down by a dirty cop, how I made sure that the Walter Scott family didn't suffer because we put the first body camera bill in the country in place. Anybody can look at the fact that when we had 9 amazing souls die in Mother Emanuel Church, I did something that no Republican or Democrat ever wanted to touch, which was call for the Confederate flag to come down, because it would take 2/3 of the House.
Dumb.
House and Senate, and was an impossible feat. I don't know what you're implying with that, but what I will tell you is saying that I had black friends is a source of pride. Saying that I had white friends is a source of pride.
You know what I saw today? I forget where it was, but I was literally thinking this the other day because I heard someone say it. The new I have trans friends is the new I have black friends.
Dude, yes. I have trans friends. Dude, this is wrong. This is Joe Biden, dude. Young Joe Biden, when he was like, I went to an all-black church. I started a social movement.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Corn Pop was a bad dude. That's when he was old. He said that when he was young. He said, I started a social movement when I went to an all-black church. He said that the 90s.
If you want to know what it was like,
I don't know if this is the clip that I meant to grab.
Growing up, I was disqualified from a beauty pageant because I wasn't white or black, because they didn't know where to put me. So look.
Disqualified from a beauty pageant. Because they didn't know where to put her because she wasn't white or black. Well,
didn't know beauty pageants had race categories.
But she was in the South.
The South did it.
But good old libs of TikTok found a picture of her from back in the day.
Oh, really?
That's would be her. Supposedly, this is her.
I'm gonna say that.
Obviously, before some surgeries and such. Because I don't think she has
a little brown girl.
Doesn't look very brown to me.
Racist.
Yeah, exactly. Those for lack of a better word, journalists that were on that interview looked like terrible. One of them looked like
Were they robots? They weren't moving.
dominatrix Jennifer Lawrence with their hair slicked back and everything. But yeah, so she was racismed as a kid, and she was in MAGA country, which I mean South Carolina.
Well, Mike has bad news is pointing out that she had to change her name when she got into politics.
Yeah.
Who do you think made her
let me
do
look that up.
that?
I forget what it is.
It was Rendawa. Rendawa? Nimorata Nikki Haley Rendawa.
Yeah, Nimrata.
Oh,
Nimrata Nikki Rendawa Haley.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, okay, maybe back then. I don't know when she got into politics. Don't
She
give
actually Indian, or did she marry into Indian?
her
No.
real first name is Nimrata.
No, she's in. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
mhm,
Okay. I never would have guessed.
mhm.
I know, and
Yeah.
I don't see what's wrong with that. Like, I kind of like the name Nimrata. I mean, and
Mhm.
actually, it maybe kind of fits for her because it sounds a lot like Nimrod.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. She needs the rod. The one that turns into snakes.
You know what? That is a damn good question. The fuck she was in a beauty pageant, because that photo of her.
The real question.
Is that a question or a statement?
It was. I think it was.
She didn't say she won or like
She didn't even get to compete.
yeah,
She was not included.
she was not included. They
like
didn't
in
want to
horror.
say you were ugly, so they just said you were brown.
Like in Horrible Bosses, when get pulled over in his Prius. Like, I like to drag race in a Prius. I don't win often.
Is that true?
This is some lore.
His
I'm
name's not
unsure.
Michael.
Because
Didn't
he
you change your
looks
husband's
like a
name
Michael.
Because he looks like a Michael.
What's his name?
What does a Michael look like?
His name's William Michael.
I don't know.
Oh my goodness! Fresh Dev Dad says that's sort of actual last name, and that's like, yeah, who can pronounce that?
I have a lot of Michaels in my family, so and none of them look like her.
Nahasipima Petilon. Yeah, if that was her name, then yeah, probably changing was probably a good idea.
I shouldn't have done that. I just checked my Twitter notifications for some reason, and there's like a guy blasting fire out of his ass while breakdancing. I don't know what's happening.
That is impressive. Not gonna lie.
So let's see. Where's the rest of my stuff? I had this thing about her inspiration being Hillary Clinton. All of this
Yikes.
stuff kind of old. Yeah. And that was an older clip of her, but like that was her inspiration for getting into politics. This is the woman that the mainstream media is trying to force feed down people's throats
Mhm.
to get rid of Donald Trump, essentially.
They hate him so much. They have to have Democrats change parties in order to vote for her.
And so I have this old clip. Okay. So look, everyone, we started talking about doing this a few weeks ago. We wanted to cover the debate, and then it kind of just turned into a show because the debate, it wasn't going to be possible to cover it one night. And so now we're going to do a fortnightly show, which might become weekly at some point in time, but no one here is forced to do that. I think as the election draws nigher,
Oh yeah, it'll ramp up.
it's going to ramp up. But I've got this old clip of Vivek on
Friday Night Sides.
no. I've got that one too, and
That
I
was
think that
great.
one's
That was
pertinent
insane.
for other reasons. But this is him on Timcast the night. I think it's the night before the Iowa
Oh yeah.
primary. If I can remember how to share my screen. So I went and I
Push the
snagged
share
this.
button and then make sure to toggle share audio.
You know what? For some reason, whenever I go to share the screen, I always want to click the camera button. I don't know why, and that's only on this app. But anyway, so let's listen to this theory that Mr. Vivek has here.
I think, Ian, you said, "Oh, is this all just
Can
one
you guys hear
giant
that?
deep fake?"
A little low,
Yeah.
but yes.
Yeah, actually, I think we're witnessing a deep fake in real time, and the deep fake is this. And the people who are the subjects to it, I think every one of the people who is a subject to it, for better or worse, is falling for the deep fake, which is that this system, the system, has made a decision, the same one that they thought they were making back when Donald Trump was exiting office. Okay, they didn't get it right that time around. To make a decision that this man shall not be allowed anywhere near the White House again, period. They will stop at nothing. And at this point, I really mean nothing. To keep.
So far, I think all of that's pretty obvious. Like,
Yeah.
the way that the press handled the whole Trump thing this whole time. Like, I forgot like how bad they are with him since like the last couple of weeks, and they're just blatantly lying about, because I just quit paying attention. I was over it.
No, they've
And-
held back on it, dude, because they're victimizing him.
But no, like the shit that I can't remember the thing that like just brought me back to 2020. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, you guys are so full.
Oh, was
of
it
shit.
the transcript of the settlement case with Epstein list, where like they had all these names on it and they just mentioned that Trump's name was in it when it exonerated him?
No, because I felt like the word exonerate got through around too easily, because this is just one of the victims, right? Like we don't have
testimony
a
of a
story.
random person.
Yeah, it's just one person's story. Epstein had a giant operation going on, so we don't have the full picture. And also, the people whose names were in there weren't necessarily guilty of anything. Look, there's people out there that legitimately think Stephen Hawking was out watching naked midgets do math equations on chalkboards that were really high.
That did happen. What do you mean?
There's people that still believe that, and then there's people that are told it's a meme and just want to believe it.
Regarding the Stephen Hawking thing, like, because do we know when that would have been? Because he wasn't always in a wheelchair. He developed that condition, or well, I mean, he was born with it, but it got progressively worse over his life. So he wasn't always in a wheelchair. So depending on when in his life,
early 2000s, so
would
he
have
was in a
made more sense.
chair.
Okay, yeah, I looked it up. He was in a chair in the 90s.
Yep.
So
yeah, but the media, the way the media handles Trump is absolutely bullshit. Like they're so full of it. So what he said so far is blatantly obvious to anyone who's.
But it contradicts even like 3 days before he said this, when he was at the caucus, being like a vote for me is.
Hold on. That was hold on. We're not there yet.
I know
we're not there yet.
Jumping ahead.
And that's part of the conversation with Vivek that I would like to go down, because of how things have changed, obviously, since then. But this theory still applies, I feel.
This man out of the White House. So what are they trying to do? I was trying to figure out for a long time. It didn't feel like it was going to be a Trump versus Biden race. There's a lot with Biden. You got the documents case coming out. Why are they trotting that against Biden after like 10 years? Hunter Biden, okay, we could have talked about it. Now suddenly it's gaining credibility. Didn't feel like it was going to be Biden. So I think incorrectly assumed that it was going to be Gavin Newsom or somebody else as the new puppet other than Biden they want to trot out. And I think what became increasingly clear is that they've actually found a much more convenient new puppet. A puppet who actually can give them a lot of air cover by being within the Republican Party or the guise of the Republican Party itself, and that's Nikki Haley, of course. The very people who are paying to keep Trump off the ballot in lawsuits, like Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, or even Larry Fink, the king of the woke industrial complex, the leader of BlackRock. Look at who they're supporting. It's not Gavin Newsom. It's not Joe Biden. It's Nikki Haley, actually. And so what they want to do, to put it in plain sight, is to make this a two-horse race between Donald Trump and a puppet who...
Okay, so hold on. Before he goes into that. So he was
Basically,
saying that...
make her like a Trojan horse.
Yeah, so like Nikki Haley would be the Manchurian
a soft
candidate?
example of why Nikki Haley is like a Democrat plant is not too far-fetched. The same reason why a lot of independents, conservatives, Republicans, Trump supporters supported Tulsi Gabbard when she was a Democrat. Where it's just when you are just such a like slime ball that is like under one party, but you have such like contradictory like beliefs, you support the opposing like party. Like, you know, you reach the aisle because you don't like, you know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because Nikki Haley is like basically Bush. She's basically Clinton. So it's not too far-fetched to like see Democrats support her.
I think she's more like Cheney.
Yeah, whatever. Yep.
She makes money when there's war.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, so many Republicans are pretty much Democrats. They're so full like pro-war. That's all it is. It's your pro-establishment or your anti-establishment, and that's like on the political compass. That's north and south. So you can be left and right, but if you're a pro-war, you're an authoritarian, and you have so much in common with the Uniparty.
That might have been like the most perfect way to put it. Pro-establishment, anti-establishment.
Yeah.
I think that is the political lines.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're absolutely right. Fuck the Democrats. Fuck the Republicans. Are you for the system or are you against the system?
Yeah, you're left and right, but if you're so far north, it doesn't matter how left or right you are. You're going to have more in common based on the up and down of the political compass.
Absolutely.
Who they can control. I believe that's Nikki Haley. Eliminate Trump from contention, and then trot in their controllable puppet into the White House. That's the game that's hiding in plain sight, and I think everybody's falling for it, actually.
I don't think they're falling for it. I think it's odd. Every time we look at the polls or the news organizations, they keep telling us Nikki is surging, and it's so obvious if you speak to people that she's not. After every single debate, they're like, Nikki won, even when it's so she's not even third place in terms of who won, and they're trying to convince us. It's
Every
just
time, yeah.
a full propaganda effort when
Absolutely.
it comes to Nikki Haley, and you're right.
I think the part
It's
they're
pretty
falling for-
sinister what they're doing, but the people, I don't think are falling for
The
it.
only part
I think I agree with her. I'm not a big Candace Owens fan, but I think she's right with the people aren't falling for what the mainstream media is putting out there
Mm-hmm.
as far as Nikki Haley surging in the polls or everything. But there are people who are, and those people who are the same people who were in the Never Trump camp, the same
Yep.
all the Democrats, all the leftists out there.
Yep.
Hey, Forkin, how you doing?
Forkin. Hell, bro.
People that don't
Yeah,
want to know what's going on. They
it's
just
sorry.
want to keep their head buried in the sand.
You know what? I don't think it's that they don't want to know. I think it's that they just buy into everything they see. They don't question anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so
Well-
therefore they don't have they think they know. These are the
Candace-
people that think they already know everything.
Yeah. Candace Owens reports on way too much drama, but when she goes like cold politics, she has pretty decent stances. So that's what it's hard when she gets into like stupid drama stuff. Because when she calls an election, she knows what she's talking about.
I haven't looked into it, but I want to know if she ever talked about her doxing site. That's all I want to know.
No, she's not that I've seen.
So until that's cleared up, I think she might still be a grifter.
Yeah, I feel you.
What do you like? So like, there's been this ongoing, pretty much ever since Vivek said that, which was I think it was literally the day before the Iowa primary.
It was
Sounds about right.
That Nikki Haley is like this Trojan horse that they don't care about. That like there's a reason why we haven't seen kind of like a slow rise of a Gavin Newsom or a Big Mike or because everyone's sitting around like.
Yeah,
It can't be Biden, right?
we're
Like,
gonna
there's
put some
way.
WD-40 on that wheelchair, and they're gonna wheel his ass back out there.
No way. that they're gonna
It's
run-
Gavin Newsom. I don't know how. I know I'm wrong. I know it's too late. It's just gonna happen. Gavin Newsom is going to be there.
I like this. I think it's Big Mike. I
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Big Mike.
Well,
If-
here's the thing, though.
I
Joe
love-
Rogan is supporting Trump until Michelle Obama runs. If Michelle Obama runs, he will not support Trump.
Who?
Rogan.
Rogan? You think
Are you shitting me?
I'm dead serious.
He wants to go back to that?
He loves Obama. He loves Michelle Obama. And he's kind of eating crow for, not, just bitching about Trump when he doesn't need to be bitching about
Yeah,
Trump.
because he voted for Biden and he knows he fucked up.
And he's admitted to it.
Oh, okay. I don't watch him, so okay.
Oh, no. He hates Biden. Dude, he hates Biden. He's
Why does he why would he want to support?
I don't know.
because
Mike.
they were all
No.
lied to about Obama. Remember Obama, the president that didn't have any controversy, which was all a bunch of total bullshit. Like Shock said,
Like,
he liked to
Wait,
blow up
what are you
children.
talking about?
What? Racism was
Has there
ended
ever
that
been a
day, and it
president
came
that
back
didn't
when
have
he served his 8
controversy?
years.
You're right. Maybe we could. You know what? We could all get all our tax money can go and start paying for more phones if we get another Obama. All the poor people can have their phones.
Yeah, right. But Joe Rogan, I think, is really essential for like centrists, like for like on a voter base. And if
you're
Michelle
right.
runs, he will gain a lot of popularity from the left.
Yep.
And they will forgive. They may even like stop the whole racism thing just to like forgive Joe Rogan and all his like air quote right leaning takes.
What are they
just
going to do when he needs horse paste again later this year?
Oh, that's okay. It's proven now. I just like a lot of that stuff will sweep under just so that his support for Michelle Obama is going to really help her.
What about you, Nia? Who do you think, if they were going to pull something out of their ass in the last minute to take Joe Biden's spot, who do you think they'd go with?
Like I've heard the theory, you know, with Newsom a bunch. God, I sure as hell hope not, because God, he's destroying the state.
He's handsome and no one knows who he is.
Yeah,
handsome.
he's a good
But a
looking
lot
guy.
of people know. Everyone knows about the San Francisco poop map now, and that's been around forever. That's been around since he was
The
the
shit's
mayor.
out of the bag,
Well,
guys.
Didn't DeSantis just like destroy him on that point when he had his debate and he pulled out the map of it?
Oh, I didn't want that. Was such a.
It was
publicity
so
stunt.
boring, man. But yes, he did.
I was gonna say I didn't watch the whole thing, but I swear I saw a clip of him pulling out the poop map.
Yeah.
The San Francisco poop map's been around since, I don't know, like 2015 or something.
Jesus, I didn't know it was that much.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time.
I've never been to San Francisco.
Listen to the No Agenda podcast. They're ahead of this shit way before anyone else ever
Oh,
is.
dang.
I loved the headline that I saw, I think just yesterday, something along the lines of Michelle Obama running because needed to be the last man in the race or something like that.
Yeah, I
I'm like,
saw that.
It's like that's an excellent use of wording. I love it.
Oh man, Big Mike.
Um,
Dude, I might write in a vote if I might vote for. I'm gonna write in the vote Big Mike. I'm not even gonna put Michelle or Trump. I'm just gonna put Big Mike.
because yeah, there's no way. I mean, I hope they do keep Biden because there's no way he could win again legitimately. Not that he won legitimately the first time, but I mean, they've got to put someone else in there that
It has to be anybody because
they
they
want-
can. Because Joe Biden got elected because he wasn't Trump.
Yeah.
So now-
One thing that I've always said is like, no, like people voted for Trump. No one voted for Biden. They only voted against
Again,
Trump. No one was like,
fact.
yes, I'm voting for Biden because I like what he stands
So now
for.
the new
That
Democrat
did
thing
not
is,
happen.
I'm not Joe Biden. Vote for me.
I think for the first time, like 2016 and 2020, I think those were like the first elections where a good amount of people were actually voting for someone instead of voting against something. I think people have been voting against something
Well,
for decades. now.
2016
evils,
simply
yeah.
nobody voted. And I think it's single-handedly because Hillary started going after guns towards the end of her campaign. Because the 2016 election is like criminally like under like participated. It's like not a lot of people voted 2016. And so I think a lot of people were like, all right, I need to anti-vote. I'm going to vote for Hillary because I don't want Trump. But when she started coming after the guns, it lost a lot of people. And they just go, I'm not going to vote, period. I can't vote for any of these people. So it's kind of like a snail race.
But yeah, I don't see Michelle Obama running. I don't see that
I
happening.
do. It's going to happen one day. Gavin and Michelle Obama,
Ooh.
2028.
Like who said it a few minutes ago? Did they delete
Big
it?
Mike with Gavin.
Yeah,
First
Professor
lady.
Savage
Yeah.
said.
Oh, no,
Kevin
no.
is
I
the
mean, like
first lady.
competing in like not the primaries.
I think it might be. So they're going to skip the primaries. They're going
What?
to skip the primaries.
That's
It's
true.
going to be a
Democrats don't
last
do 'em.
minute. Like I want to say, Duke Devil's been going on about how like Biden's going to fall on stage and Gavin Newsom's going to run to get him. And like
I was
he's
just going to
be-
bring that up because that's something that Tim has, Tim has
Just
set
like-
up on.
Like there's gonna be
I
like it's
can't
gonna be like
believe
reality
Tim-
TV. Which there's a very good argument that all of this shit that everything we've talked about tonight is nothing more than reality TV, and it's all a bunch of horse shit. And we're just in a fucking program, and that's all this is. Like none
Dude,
of this
it's
is
not
real.
fair if the aliens get to watch us as interdimensional cable. When are we gonna get interdimensional cable?
Well, we have to
Outside the
travel
simulation.
interdimensionally first, I would think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sure hope not. But I definitely see a path where Newsom is the candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, he definitely has the looks. Women
Can't lose with that face.
A lot of people vote for people. They don't know anything about policies. They'll just vote who who looks better. Like back when the TV was like first became a thing. I'd have to go back and look at it, but whoever won the very first televised debate was because the other person, people were seeing the debates for the first time, not just hearing it over the radio, and they were more well put together.
Oh,
looking, and they ended up winning.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't vote anything based on
Yeah, because
policy.
it takes way too
It's a
much time.
It's a popularity contest.
Yes.
Okay, Duke Devil saying it was Nixon and Kennedy. That sounds right.
It's going to take too much time to explain that Gavin Newsom has been, because he's going to go up there and talk about homeless people and get rid of, we need to solve the homeless problem. He's been trying to solve the homeless problem since 2001, and it's quadrupled since then. But you have, see that air quotes, you have to explain that to the voter base. They're not going to know about any of that stuff. And they're going to vote for him again, the way California keeps voting for him again.
So I think that happens only if they don't.
Devil.
I think they're going to do something crazy like that where they skip the primaries if they don't find some way to get Nikki Haley in as the Republican. Right?
Yeah.
I do think that Nikki Haley is the Trojan horse. She is just another cog in their fucking machine.
But she is a freaking Republican, dude. Like the legit Republicans are warmongers. It's Bush. I know everyone's saying Clinton, but I'm saying Bush. But we're fighting over the same person. It's a uniparty. They're the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's
exactly. This is populism, non-populism.
Yeah.
The establishment, non-establishment. What's weird is that it's a billionaire that's kind of leading the non-establishment stuff, right? But how else do you do it? It's not like some person, it's not like you could get like an actual really smart person out there like Brad, our own Duke Devil. Like, I think he would be great as president, but I don't think he could do it without some sort of backing, and then he becomes compromised, right?
Well, smart people are too smart to run for office. Like, that's what Donald Trump technically said. He was kind of forced into it.
Those that don't want the power are usually the best suited for it.
George Washington. And Teddy Roosevelt.
What
they
about
wanted to make him king, and he's like, no.
What do you guys think about those Haley for VP rumors?
Okay, all right. So
God, I hope not. Trump cannot be. I mean,
I won't vote for the dude. I won't vote for the dude.
Dang.
I won't vote for the guy. If he picks Haley as his VP, I can't. I can't. It's just Trump 2016 round 2, possibly even worse.
I don't see that happen.
It's like Pence, bro.
I think it's worse than Pence.
It's worse.
It's way worse than Pence.
Yeah.
Pence was at least quiet and shut up. You know what I mean?
It's the same cog, though.
Yeah. It's a bigger cog.
I mean, I can't imagine that. Like, he sees these, he knows what's going on. He's got advisors and stuff. Like, he has to know that she's not really on his side. Like, there's no way you can pick her.
Yeah.
In the eventuality that we're on that timeline where that does happen, I mean, who else?
Instead of cog, he said we should have said cock.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Australian. Can we say the
cunt.
Australian C word?
You can say the Australian C word. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You just gotta spell it
A big
CAWNT.
I always do. I always
Um,
do, baby.
But if Nikki Haley becomes his VP, I seriously cannot
not
see
gonna
that possibly
happen.
happening.
No.
If it did, I mean, Trump and Haley versus, as of right now, Biden.
Ron DeSantis
still
has
not
a
gonna
better chance. So
you still
who's your
wouldn't vote for
VP
Trump?
picks?
There you go. Who's the VP pick?
What's your guys' VP?
Well, so hold on, real quick before that, you would think you would think he wouldn't want to choose Haley just because you would think he would be sick and tired of being undermined already, because that's
Well,
all
I-
2016.
Carrie Lake's hotter. That's the math there.
Oh,
Carrie Lake's hotter.
Yeah, I like Carrie Lake a lot.
I grew up watching Carrie Lake. I'm good on that. Yeah.
Soiled your Cheerios too many times.
No, I just never thought of her that way. She was just a news lady.
So with VP, right? VP doesn't matter. So does your VP, is the goal to have your VP gain you votes? Like, is it worth having Vivek or even Ron DeSantis as a VP so that you can get the TDS voters to vote for you? Is that worth the move?
But even if you did get those people, these people have TDS. You think that's going to be enough to dissuade them from voting?
Yeah, they'll just
For
vote
Trump?
for Biden again.
Yeah.
You think
Even
the
though
Ron
they know he's
DeSantis
shitting his
TDS
pants,
people
they will
wouldn't vote for
Biden
Trump?
while he is shitting his pants. Like, they don't care.
No, the Ron DeSantis supporters. If Ron DeSantis was VP, you don't think the TDS DeSantis supporters, the Ashley St. Clairs, you don't think she would vote for him?
Does she? I don't know where she stands. Does she have?
She doesn't
TDS?
have TTS, but she loves Ron DeSantis.
Yeah,
like
I,
to a
you know,
fault.
okay. I don't know. I don't know. This is a prediction, and
Mhm.
it's not who we want.
Well, the big one's Tucker Carlson. That's what everyone wants. I don't.
So I think that's the prediction. If we're
I
gonna look
don't.
at it from like an actual like what's gonna help him win, that would be my prediction.
I think the Vivek or DeSantis will help Trump win. Who will help him be a better president? I think would be either Stefank or Lake.
Oh, Stefanik.
Yeah, Stefanik.
Elise?
Yeah, I like her.
I don't like Lake.
Why
Oh.
not?
I'll vote for her as a senator because I think she's too much of a yes man.
Does Trump need a VP to help him? This is his revenge tour. He doesn't need a VP to help him. He knows what he's doing.
I think if he's going to do the revenge thing, he needs Vivek.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Vivek is both. You get the TDS voters and you help them burn the deep state.
I don't know if you get TDS voters
I think
Yeah,
you
I don't
would.
know if there's anything that could
because
get
he's
that.
more. I think he's more populist than Trump.
I'm talking about the Republican TDS voters.
Oh,
the Ron
Duke Neville
DeSantis.
coming in with one that I don't.
Oh, I love Rand Paul.
Actually, can we get his dad? I'd
Oh,
rather his dad. Like Rand
I
Paul's
know.
fine, but Ron Paul, yes.
It looks like Rand Paul and Trump have made amends over Trump bullying him over.
Did Rand Paul endorse him yet? Because I know he hasn't endorsed any. I don't care.
I-
But let VP
I don't
predictions.
believe
did.
so.
I actually think he did.
VP predictions. What are
No. I don't know about prediction, but I would be okay with Lake or Vivek or Tucker.
Okay, so the reason why I don't want Tucker is I think Tucker is actually like one of the most non-compromised, honest, independent journalists right now, and I don't want to compromise that by him going into office. I think he needs to stay in journalism.
Okay, that's a good point.
That's a fair point.
Trump is 78. I mean,
Well,
he looks good
yeah.
for 88. and-
Ron Paul deserves to not have to be vice president for 4 years.
Oh yeah. No, we're making him. It's not his choice. All right.
So the reason why, a big reason why I would like Vivek is because he said he was going to make Javier Milei seem like a normal politician. Like he was going to out Milei and like
that
get
would be
rid of
awesome.
the CIA and everything. And the only reason why I am more
Sean Strickland.
yeah, John Strickland for VP, that would be the shit. Or fuck, DOJ.
Beelzebub, Mike
be
Pence
dope.
was already VP.
Yeah,
Voted
Mike
for the
Pence
devil.
was VP.
Yeah, he
Remember,
already
the
did
fly
that.
landed on him and everything. He
A
said,
gay. He had a gay devil as the VP.
But the only reason why I'm even willing to because like I like the cut of Vivek's jib, but like could never really trust him. And then when he was, and it wasn't just because he was on FNT, but it was because of how he responded to the like the MCU question. And he jumped right into the
He had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah, he jumped into he was like, oh, the demasculization of everything, and he just instantly got it. And I was like, oh,
yep,
he's not full of shit.
Yeah,
Trump
I saw
has
a
no
clip-
cultural awareness, and Vivek will help him cover his blind spots,
I wouldn't
especially
say
with like
no, but definitely not as in touch as Vivek. Definitely.
you don't think Vivek would help him with like the cultural stuff and the internet?
Definitely.
censorship? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, you
help
just said that Trump is, completely out of the cultural zeitgeist. I think, he's definitely not in it like Vivek is, but I think he's for his
No, I'm
age,
not
I
saying.
think-
No, I love Trump. I know he's aware, but I'm saying any blind spots that he may have when it comes to cultural relevancy, he will cover them.
yeah, that's a
I'm
good
saying
point.
like he will be like on top of everything with him. Like I think Vivek is the best pick, but realistically, I think he's just gonna go with more of a yes woman with Stefank, or he may want to do the big breaking news. Tucker Carlson is VP. Like that's very a bombastic move that I can see Trump doing.
Yeah.
He's gonna go for the bombastic, even though I don't agree with it.
Because like Vivek and Carrie Lake are kind of obvious, right?
Yeah.
And then Elise Stefanik is well, you know what? Elise Stefanik's almost like a Pence move because Pence was kind of the only he got Pence to get those Republican doubters the first time, right?
I think that would be a Ron DeSantis VP, not Stefank, because she's kind of on board with everything. She's really smart. She she explains the Trump's campaign's moves very well.
Was that a Blind Melon ringtone I just heard?
I love that song. Yeah, that cut me off guard. I was like, wait.
Yes, it was.
I love that song. Maybe that should be our intro.
Oh yeah, that would go. Real quick.
I think that, but the Mike Pence move would be DeSantis as VP because that would repair the Republican Party, and it could end up really bad.
Right. So like when I said Stefanik would be like a Mike Pence move, I don't mean like she would be like a Mike Pence, like a fucking stick in the mud type thing. I mean like she would be like a safe, unexpected move.
Oh yes, very safe.
Yeah.
And I think she would be more effective than Carrie Lake. Because I agree, Carrie Lake's not going to help anything. She's just going to be the yes woman, which I think Trump needs. Like he needs a yes woman, and it would really help her career in the long run.
Yeah, Duke here's saying if Ron hadn't run, he would probably have been at the top of VP choices.
Oh,
absolutely,
lock it in.
That would have been my first guess. But Mike has bad knees had a very good point. And saying that if DeSantis hadn't run, he would have been kind of irrelevant come 2028 because he wouldn't have. He's only got 2 more years as a governor, and so those last 2 years he would have just been floating along, and his name wouldn't have been as popular as it was after 2020 and everything that happened with.
You don't think
right?
Trump would have funded some rallies for him while he was off those 2 years?
You know what? If he was in there and actually, I wouldn't have been surprised if he became part of like Trump's cabinet.
Yeah,
after the 2 years or something.
It's a great point.
He would have been. He probably would have been the VP if he would have kept kissing Trump's ass. If he would have kept kissing Trump's ass, he would have been the VP shoo-in.
Ron DeSantis is like the firstborn that denied his inheritance, and now here comes Vivek. He's got the torch.
Yeah, I mean, Ron had everything going for him, and then he stabbed Trump in the back. It's like, what are you doing?
Actually, what's funny is that Trump was kind of assaulting him first because he knew what was coming.
I remember when that all was going on, and I was like,
we were all hating Trump.
What are you doing? Why are you attacking him? Like, he hasn't done anything to you. You're not, that doesn't make you look good. he was ahead of the curve on that one.
Oh, he's always ahead of the curve, dude. It's insane. This dude's taking down mobsters. You don't think he can't like foresee a campaign running against him?
Okay, so I actually kind of want to play this last bit from the clip from FNT because you mentioned about like Vivek kind of becoming the next chosen one, right?
Yeah.
For the MAGA movement, for the MAGA movement.
Yeah,
let
I saw
me-
a great
let
clip from him
Run, you were
a
the
few-
chosen one,
like a week
meatball.
before with like a a dissident essentially, and he's like, "Here, take the mic and you make your point, and then we'll have a discussion. I'll tell you why you're wrong." And by the end of their chat, they had actually come to a mutual understanding. It's like that's awesome. You don't really see that in politics.
Very true.
Vivek's good. Vivek's very
He's still suspicious, but
Yes,
I like him.
and that's part of the reason why he is suspicious because he's so good at
He's
talking.
too good.
Yeah.
I
So
like him, but very
this part from the F&T clip is when D-Day Cobra, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, has to get his bit out, right? And I want you to watch Vivek's reaction to it. It's not
Oh, I didn't
bad,
watch.
but when he brings up the 2028 stuff,
Mhm.
it's not bad, but it's interesting. So let me click this button here. Once again, it's going to be quiet. Next time, I'll put this through the editor. When I grab these clips off of OBS, I'll put these through the editor and I'll boost the volume.
Blink here as I'm walking in the snow into this building, but that gives you my 2 cents. Right
The
there.
fact
I
that
should
you
join this on a future Friday.
You should.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. The fact that you
Yeah.
recognize it at all.
Okay, I
is
didn't get the right
important.
timestamp.
Seeing a candidate like even acknowledge it is moving forward. So I appreciate
One of the
that.
things that Elon told me actually early, Elon Musk, I didn't know him before the race, but we've gotten to be pretty friendly through this. Is I think he said it a couple of times to me. Whatever's the entertaining, the most likely outcome isn't the most rational outcome. The most likely outcome is the one that's most entertaining. And
Just real quick, the most likely outcome is the most entertaining one. It's not wrong, but I fucking hate it.
Well, that's why it's going to be VP Tucker Carlson,
Yeah.
and I don't like that.
Okay.
Yep.
So
True.
Jeremy's about to chime in.
I've grown to believe there's a lot of wisdom to that. So we'll see. We'll see how that
Absolutely.
plays out.
Hey,
So,
Vivek,
anyway.
real quick, I know you got to go. I'm a hardcore Trump supporter, mega Trump supporter. I've had my skepticism on you throughout the campaign, but I've always appreciated how you've done everything. And now I'm happy that you're going to bring that energy from the campaign to helping Trump. We need him back in the White House. So I appreciate you doing what you're doing, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. We're going to try to end this in New Hampshire. I think it's got to end in New Hampshire. I think if it doesn't end in New Hampshire, there's going to be some bad things that could play out. And a lot of Trump supporters didn't love me for saying this over the last couple of months, but I think it's the truth. I think there's a plot to narrow this down to a 2-horse race between Trump and a puppet who they can control. That puppet has a name. It's called Nikki. And and then they want to eliminate him and trot in their puppet. And so part of the reason I dropped out is I got 8% in Iowa. I was about to probably get about something similar in New Hampshire. If I could throw that in Trump's direction and end this thing in New Hampshire on Tuesday, all is well. If not, I will hate to be the one to say I told you so, because I would rather be wrong about this than be right on something like this. But I am worried about what comes after. So anyway, I'm
Okay, so here's the part where the 2028 comes up.
focused on it, guys. We'll
I
see you
truly
later.
believe if Trump gets back in office in 2024, you're primed for 2028. So good having you on, man.
Good seeing you, brother.
Hell yeah.
Did you see it?
Mm.
Did you see it?
He looked a little disappointed.
He shook his head no.
Yeah.
I think he's done.
I don't know. I think that seems more like a bitter defeat.
It could be a bitter defeat.
Like I don't know. It's so weird. He's willing to like support him, right? And work with him, but the fact that he's like, I didn't win this year when I could have.
Was there ever a hope for him?
Yeah, I would say so.
No.
You don't
He
think
was
so?
always so low and like, look, okay. I'm gonna say something. Vivek was more than likely my choice.
There you go. Why are you saying that? You would have voted. I know you would have voted for him. A lot of
Because
people
I'm
would
not
have.
going to vote because I don't vote unless it's something that I actually believe in.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't vote unless it's something I actually believe in. I will not compromise myself like that. And you know what? Sometimes that means I get fucked and there's nothing worth voting for.
Yeah. 2016. You are the majority of people who didn't vote 16 because you said, you know, I don't like Trump. Oh, Hillary's taking my guns.
I
Not doing
vote.
it either.
I did vote, motherfucker. I voted Gary Johnson because yeah. At that point, I didn't really care as much because Bernie Sanders was out, right?
Oh, Bernie.
Like I was like, okay, the socialist is out. I don't want Hillary.
You have no
I
idea
don't know
what it was
anything
like.
about Trump. I wasn't really paying any attention to this. I hadn't been called a white supremacist because I didn't believe in taxes and didn't feel the
No,
need that
it's
I need to go
worse.
and look into why my belief
I'm-
on taxes might be upholding white supremacy. That's what sent me down this.
No, dude. In high school, you have no idea how hot the Bernie girls were. They were all psychos, all psycho commies. Shoe on head. I was surrounded by shoe on heads, bro. It was bad.
I fall on
one-
that.
Oh yeah, that was real bad. I'm sure it was terrible.
No, you don't understand.
They
'cause
fall
we-
in that hot crazy area of the hot crazy matrix.
Yeah, and we had to do a debate, and they would pick someone to try to come up with topics, and they all wanted free universal health care. So then I was like, all right, well,
That's
you know,
what they
let's
always
get.
want.
They always want that. I'm like, all right, let's get rid of public transportation. Let's get rid of this and this, and they were like, you fascist. Anyway.
It's always the free healthcare. It's always free healthcare.
Oh, but there's so much money going into Ukraine. I bet lots of conservatives are like, well, if we're going to give money to Ukraine, I'd rather at least try to do universal health care. Like, my God. If you're going to tank the economy anyway, yeah, spend it on war.
Yeah.
I still think
mean-
that was a bitter defeat look by Vivek. I think he's ashamed that he lost, but he is primed because he's kind of like, I bet someone told him that. Vivek, if you just bend the knee, you will be in a great position for 2028. And then this Trump supporter podcaster is like, I know, but I don't want to. I wanted to win this year. Like, you know, I think it was a bitter
you're
defeat
going
look.
up against Trump. Like, I can't imagine.
He
like,
should have
what
been
were
number
you
2. I'm
thinking?
sorry. There was no other candidate that would go toe to toe with him than Vivek.
You know what? He did get 8% in Iowa, and that was way more
Mm-hmm.
than I think that was way more than he even thought he would have done.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting 2 to 3 lucky. And then Nikki Haley was in 3rd fucking place in Iowa, and she's now the 2nd place because Ron DeSantis backed out. Like,
She also spent the most on her campaign there, on Iowa alone. Wasn't it like 200 something?
well, she's getting backed by all these freaking corporate bullshit, the super PACs and all that. She's got
Yeah.
Democrat money coming in.
Yep.
Yeah. And I actually I took another clip from Timcast earlier today. One of his videos talking about how like maybe she's just playing the Democrats to run for something later because there's just no way she could win. And I was like, is she really that smart? Is she really that
No.
smart? I don't think so.
She's a little brown girl from Carolina. What
Right.
does
She
she
can't
know?
be that smart. She's a little brown.
Yeah, just like poor kids are just as smart as white kids.
They're just as smart
yeah.
as white kids. That's a legendary line.
That's classic. That is classic.
Classic Bidenism.
I need that clip for the intro of the show.
That shouldn't be too difficult to find.
No, that one should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, some of the like suspicion, like my suspicions, like for Vivek is like it's like he's throwing all the support behind Trump and stuff, and he seems to have been, you know, for the most part, most of his campaign he was pretty pro-Trump. But it's like, why were you running against him in the first place if you're so for him?
To get his name out there.
well, so he said so after that clip of Timcast, he went on to go say like that's where things are a little weird for me still with Vivek. Is like after that part where he was talking about the Trojan horse, he went on to say that he's going to go through this the whole way to prevent it from coming down to just those two.
Mm-hmm.
because he was worried that there would be such a push for Nikki that it would be detrimental to Trump.
That probably leads into the other thing I was going to say, because it was like a thing that I saw a bunch last week, is like clips of him talking to people and saying, like, you know, to support Trump, vote for me. It's like, how does that make any sense?
Yeah. Well, that was
Like,
that
if
was
I wanted to support Trump, I'd vote for Trump. Why would I vote for you to support Trump?
well,
Like,
no,
that
more
doesn't make any
importantly,
sense.
it was the deep state is not gonna let this guy be president. Let me be president. That was like the most like.
So that's not what I saw. I saw like maybe okay, kind of like that. Yeah, I saw it as like, well, they're not going to let him be president, so you need me to be president so I could pardon him.
I don't know what that was.
It was weird. It
Oh,
was
I
weird,
didn't-
And
I
I'll
didn't-
tell you what it was.
I
It
didn't
was
take that.
desperation.
No, it was desperate for sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I'm gonna pardon him. No, it was desperation for sure.
It was desperation to garner one vote from some old white.
I think it's very similar to like he just saw a shot. He said Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, or DeSantis. There's no way any of these people are popular. It was worth running to see if he could win and to get his name out there.
Yeah,
It's as simple as that.
He-
I think he should have been number 2. He is the number 2 candidate by far.
I thought he was too.
And those polls, okay, I was really shitting on Ron DeSantis fans on Twitter saying that Nikki Haley is beating him in the polls. All that was just to joke around. But Vivek was always the number 2, in my opinion.
You know what would have been really interesting would have been to see a three-way race without DeSantis and see where Vivek how many votes Vivek pulled.
Yeah, I feel you. Because the thing is that Vivek's support splits between Trump and DeSantis. Both Trump and DeSantis supporters like Vivek, and he was the backup vote. So we really don't know his popularity. You can't really know.
Yeah, it would have been really interesting to see if he blew Nikki Haley out of the water too.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah. I think that's what makes Nikki Haley so fascinating, is that she did have all that support that came from Democrats. It came from like that gnarly funding campaigns. She just had more money, pay to win, but still lose.
So another popular topic that's been up here recently has been, voting just in general, voter IDs, who can get a ballot, all of that fun stuff. I don't know why that would be a topic of conversation during an election or anything. YouTube, I'm going to say something here. Okay. And it has nothing to do with 2020. I've never trusted elections. I had a weird run-in when I was a kid going to an election with my mom.
I don't think that's going to help you with YouTube. By the way, all elections are fair and true. I'm not election desire.
You cast your ballot as a kid? Is that what you're saying?
No. Hold on. Okay. So Bob Dole, Bill Clinton election, right?
Bob Dole.
If I bring in the I voted 2 sticker for the kids vote thing, I get extra credit. So I go with my mom when she goes to vote. So I fill out mine real quick, over and done. I go and meet my mom. She's still, filling hers out.
But yours wasn't real, right?
What's
I didn't
that?
know they did that.
No, kids vote. Yeah. No, it wasn't real, but they would like just tally it for the kids.
Oh, I've never
Okay.
heard of this.
I've never heard of this
Never
either.
heard of this.
Okay.
That's crazy. How old are you? Just kidding.
I was
just
like-
kidding. I don't want.
I think I was 8.
Uh,
I think.
Interesting.
But like, so this was a thing. So my mom finishes up and she puts her ballot in this large box. And this box is huge. It's got a digital screen on it. Like just like a little LCD with numbers, and it's got like a light on it or something. And I asked the little old lady sitting next, I was like, "Oh, what does that mean? Or now what?" She didn't know. She didn't know. She was like, "I don't know."
I just work here.
I'm like, oh.
aren't these voting places often run by volunteers who may not know what's going on?
But you're a volunteer.
If you're watching the
Why are
box,
you
you're not
there?
asking why or what's next or trying to figure out what's going on in the process.
Yeah,
Well,
that makes no sense.
I mean, was that what she was there for, to watch the box?
She had been there for a while.
should they get
not only
paid?
do you have to stand in line to get your ballot, but then you also have to stand in line to put your ballot in this fucking box. Not as big as a line though.
Yeah.
But like, there was another older gentleman too who came by, and she asked, and he didn't know. So ever since then, I've always had questions about elections. I'm like, if the people working there don't know what the fuck's going on, who does?
Yep.
So all these bandwagoners, welcome.
Well, yeah.
So I'm going to play this clip. I have to run and take a leak, but I know what this clip is. This is Kamala Harris on voter IDs.
Oh,
And
don't leave us with brain damage.
Oh,
You have to suffer with us too.
it's only 44 seconds. You guys,
We'll hold the show. You're good.
I'll be
When she's
right back.
speaking, Any
Yeah,
amount of
yeah.
time is an eternity.
God, he's about to.
The voter
AI
ID
right
one of
now.
those compromises that you'd support? I don't think that we should underestimate what that could mean. Because in some people's mind, that means, well, you're going to have to Xerox or photocopy your ID to send it in to prove you are who you are. Well, there are a whole lot of people, especially people who live in rural communities, who don't, there's no Kinko's, there's no Office Max near them. People have to understand that when we're talking about voter ID laws, be clear about who you have in mind and what would be required of them to prove who they are. Of course, people have to prove who they are, but not in a way that makes it almost impossible.
The voter ID, one of those compromises that you'd support?
I don't think that we should
Because he's away.
underestimate what
Static.
that could mean.
Static.
Make it stop.
Because in some people's
Let's share the show sheet.
Oh, it's on Twitter. That's why I replayed. It wasn't a clip that I just grabbed.
Okay, there we go. Came
Like,
back.
make
That
it
was a quick leak.
stop.
Did you pee on the floor?
But don't make it impossible. Yeah, because it's impossible to make a photocopy.
It's called Trust Me, bro.
Oh my god.
How the fuck do you think they do their taxes or fucking get a credit card?
Please tell me this is leading into the other clip from the
The
guy going
bank
around asking people
We'll
about the
demand
DMV.
you have a license,
Yes.
but this. Oh God.
It's like, don't make it impossible to, make a photocopy of something. Really?
Yeah, and now, granted, it wasn't just the black people who couldn't do it, but the people in the rural communities don't have scanners and stuff like that. It's like,
They don't have technology or electricity yet.
yeah, my mom lived in the middle of
Or the
nowhere, and she had a
internet. You don't
scanner
remember
before I ever fucking did.
There was a guy on CNN that said, "Oh, the white people they get the phones and they make an appointment, and we black people have to sit in a line." And it's like, you could make an appointment too. Like, you don't have to sit in a line. Oh, it was the Hodge twins that reacted.
The Hodge.
Oh, the
I haven't
white
seen
man
it.
has power to make an appointment.
Well, because keeping time is white.
Oh yeah,
that-
it's white.
Being punctual is rooted in white supremacy, just like literally everything else is white supremacy. Being able to do good in school is white supremacy. So
know what?
they
I don't
need
even know
to
why we
get,
fuck as a society anymore. Everything's just rooted in white supremacy. That
we need to get rid of scoring systems to make it more equitable for non-white children.
so yeah,
They
the-
really make the argument that world was better with white supremacy if everything good is just supremacists.
to this day, pushing against voter ID, which personally, Trump, I don't think we need a federal voter ID. I think every state should require that they just show their state ID.
Trump
Makes
has
sense.
Trump has done a terrible job explaining the voter fraud. He just in his rallies this past like October, he finally started clearly saying mail-in ballots. They stole the election with mail-in ballots. And I'm like, you did not say that in 2020. You didn't say that in 2021. You didn't say that in 2022. He's now finally like making it clear what we mean by election fraud. The mail-in ballots are the biggest because all the anomalies and the miscounts came from mail-in ballots. The extra votes, the votes that they wanted Pence to cancel, they all come from that, from votes not being counted. I know that's another thing, but the big thing is the mail-in ballots. Those were the duplicates. Those were the dead people.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that they wanted recounted and the extra votes discarded. And then Pence gets up there and goes, "You don't understand. Donald Trump wanted me to void votes." It's like, yeah, void the duplicates and the dead people who voted from home. Like, he was never clear about that until these upcoming rallies. That's one of Trump's biggest failures that he's making up for right now.
Yeah. What do you guys?
Another thing that I think that he failed on was the whole Section 230 thing.
God.
That's one of his blind spots that Vivek would be perfect for.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that's actually what any VP should be looking at for him. He should be he should be looking at like the bigger picture stuff, and then the person over the VP should be looking into the protecting the freedoms of the people here. That would be absolutely wonderful.
Good with that. Carrie Lake would not do good with that.
No, because she doesn't have her finger on the pulse.
She would get it. She would probably repeat what Trump said in like 2018 and be like, "No, that's not what we're talking about."
Like I said, she's
dumbass.
too much of a yes guy. She's too much like. We need someone who can appropriately push back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And not undermine someone who's can work with him, because I don't think Pence worked with him at all.
Pence was a ball and chain.
Yeah. What did Pence even fucking do?
Nothing.
You never saw the guy
Ever.
anyway. So they don't want voter ID. They don't think people should be required to have an ID to vote. But, you know, like this happens every so often. We get the man on the street asking people what they feel about voter ID. Let's hear what they have to say.
Black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
One thing to note,
because I have my.
This is in Harlem that
Yes.
they're doing this.
In Harlem.
Oh, wow.
So
Harlem.
that's also very pertinent to this. So
Whereas Pokemon would
Is
say
that-
where all the brokies live, right?
Wait, the bro that can't afford my cookies.
ID and my friends have their ID, so like we know what we need.
That's a kid. That's a kid. All his friends have IDs.
Real quick, this is Harlem. It looks so much nicer than Brooklyn. Not gonna lie. Good job, AOC.
Need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. Like, that's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, an ID.
It's like, how am I going to pick up my 40 without my ID?
Yes, or his SIGs.
You know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type?
How do they not know? Okay. How do these people not know, like, where he's going at with this? How are they on? Like, they've got to be thinking this has got to be the voting stuff, right?
Well, because I mean, CNN didn't shut up about it, and it's on every airport, every like, I don't know, hospital, vet.
Well, also CNN's at CNN has been at the lowest ratings forever.
Dude, I haven't
they're going to get a spike this year because of the election, but it's still low.
I live in California. Every building plays Fox now.
Really?
Every bank, hospital, every TV I see in a public setting, it is all Fox. I haven't seen CNN in years.
So the Fox is ran by liberals.
Yes. Didn't say it was a good thing.
Yeah, they are controlled opposition, but I find that interesting that switched over, especially with the Nikki Haley theories we've discussed recently.
Oh man, I'm shocked that more Democrats were funding Nikki than Fox because they could make a lot of money off her.
I don't go many because I'm in California as well. I don't go many places where I see like TVs on in public settings, but the one place that I go is a Japanese place that I will get food from every so often, and every time I'm in there, they are playing CNN.
Oh, really? Interesting.
But that's the only place I can think of where I've even seen a public TV playing
Restaurants.
news.
It's always Fox.
And it's like it's more of like a kind of a fast food type place that's they've got tables you can sit there, but
the casual dining thing. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is it like teriyaki bowls or something?
Yeah.
Oh, those are good.
So
love it.
Me too.
I was gonna say, are they Japanese or are they Chinese?
Are you Chinese or Japanese?
The only reason I ask is I can see them trying
I'm
to
from Lao.
trying to find more news about China on CNN than you would somewhere else.
Yeah.
Also, how disappointing is it when you walk into a restaurant and it's the fucking news on the television?
Yeah. So.
Isn't there some sports ball or something?
Yeah, bro. I'd rather watch hockey.
Dude, hockey is freaking entertaining. I don't watch any sports, but it could be a random hockey game on, and I'll be into it.
Okay.
I think it's crazy that the hockey cheerleaders were less than the football cheerleaders, and they're in an ice rink.
I don't know if I've ever seen hockey cheerleaders, and
I've
I've
never
been to
seen
two
hockey
games.
cheerleaders.
Oh, I've been to it. My dad's boss had seats right above the locker room where you see them all come out.
Oh, that because like
I went to a
to
San Jose Sharks game one time, and it was the most exciting sporting event I've ever been to.
All right.
When I lived in California for that 6 months, I went to 2 or 3 Kings games.
Oh yeah,
LA
yeah.
Kings.
Mhm.
And I
too.
didn't see any.
Oh, you're crazy.
Yeah, hockey, not the Sacramento Kings, LA Kings. Yeah.
Yeah, because
No, I was down
Sorry
south.
to
I was
hear.
not in Sacramento. Hell no, I probably would have died.
Oh, crazy. No, that's
that's
they were beautiful.
I'm still alive and I've lived here 30 years. 30
Oh, okay.
30 plus years.
From what I understood, Sacramento was kind of on the same level as Oakland.
No.
No,
no.
not that bad.
Sacramento's is where it's where all the California people have moved.
We have a lot of homeless. I mean, yeah, there's crime, but it's not like Oakland.
No,
because the first month, almost month I lived in California, I was living in a van.
Down by the river?
No, by Huntington Beach.
Oh, hey, that's
by the
actually
ocean.
nice. This is in a nice
You're
area.
living in a
dude.
van down by the ocean.
Yeah.
I moved out to California with like $700 in my pocket and said, "Let's do it."
Nice.
Wow. So yeah, voter ID. We're still talking about that. That's insane.
Yeah.
Type of trick candy cameras.
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's that on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is around you?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Would you have a problem getting there if you had to get there?
No.
I know.
This guy's gonna get punched.
I know, like, and these guys, look at this racist white guy.
It's like,
These sound
hey,
like silly questions. You know how to get to the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
Oh Jesus!
Damn.
Thank you, Joe.
he's like,
Biden.
this is just what I heard.
You don't even know how to turn on a computer.
I went to an old
That's
white church.
that's just stupidity.
I had access to the internet for years.
You know how to use it properly, right?
Exactly. I do it at work. So, of course, I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Your phone has data?
Mm-hmm.
You can access the internet with-
Unlimited.
Unlimited data.
Mm-hmm. I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to you for the people who have this perception of black people?
They're pretty much ignorant. That's what my thought process on.
I just think that's ignorant. It's ignorant.
Ignorant. That's the
Very,
word I'm hearing
very
a lot.
ignorant.
Ignorant.
It's very, very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
I think it is a little racist because, you know.
That is an interesting way she decided to put that. A little racist.
A little.
I think.
I think
way
he was
very.
That's kind of called poisoning the well, kind of putting words in other people's mouths.
Everyone knows that.
But I probably shouldn't have suggested that to just like all the others. I said ignorant.
Well, I mean, what? But I think that's like the most perfect way to describe racism is ignorance.
Oh yeah.
Like
everybody knows the Boost Mobile's been preventing blacks from voting for years.
Wait, what?
No, you're putting people in a category and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe a little bit of racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
You're judging somebody, like, but you're judging them because they black, saying that they don't got it.
What people are they talking to? Who are these people talking to?
Do you have a problem that if you go to vote and they say, "Can we please see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are"? Are you
Love
cool?
showing my ID.
You got no problem with that?
Nope.
Would you have a problem if when you go to vote, if they say, "Can we please just see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are"? Do you have an issue with that?
No.
Would you have a problem if there was a rule where you have to show your ID in order to vote?
I don't think so. No.
Would you have an issue if there was a rule saying you got to show your ID before you vote?
Nah.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
Now I'm here.
Okay. So this kind of drives me nuts. Because those aren't the only like 7 people that feel that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? How is this happening? How is this narrative allowed to be capable of being created and like carried out?
I have
know what I'm
no
saying?
idea who it benefits.
It's like, yeah, this stuff is all coming from the left, but yet the people on the right are the racists.
And it's not just the fact that they're on the left. It's the fact that this is the mainstream media news corporations that are pushing that idea that it's racist to ask for ID to vote. Like,
I love how this
How?
just blows that whole thing out of the water, because this is like, you know, the core demographic of who these sorts of, you know, the reasons why they're saying these things. Like, this is where you would go as the perfect epitome of what they're talking about, and yet everyone's like, no, that's stupid.
yeah, like this is simple, basic common sense. You can't do so many things if you don't have an ID, right? Now in New York, you don't necessarily need an ID to drive because there's so many other things to get you around, right?
Well, obviously you still need it if you were the one driving, but yeah, there's, well,
if you're
depends
driving,
on
you
if
don't
you're
have to
talking
drive in New
if
York.
you're talking like Manhattan versus like upstate New York, but
Right.
yeah, the city, you know, a lot of people don't even have cars because, you know, there's a lot of
You don't
better,
need one.
easier options.
Yeah, public transportation.
I don't know how they get away with this. And then the
I-
white women,
yeah, it's pretty
the
wild.
white women just eat it up. That's what it is. It's the fucking white women.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I mean, even like Kamala Harris talked about it on the Breakfast Club too.
Back in 2020.
Yeah, back in 2020, dude. Like, you said that about your own race. Like, the Breakfast Club is like Joe Rogan for black people, dude.
Right,
Like, it is the most popular radio show ever, and you just said that about your own people. You talk down to the people you try to relate to.
What did what's his face say? The fucking I can't think of his name. The host.
Charlemagne?
Yeah,
He's not on that show, but he does.
Oh.
Charlemagne refuses to talk about Joe Biden. He doesn't like Joe Biden. He doesn't like Kamala Harris.
Well, yeah,
and he
Joe
doesn't like-
Biden said on his show,
Mhm.
if you don't vote for me, you ain't
You're
black.
black.
Said
No,
that on his show.
He openly said, I don't like the Democrats right now. I don't like Kamala Harris. I don't like Joe Biden. And I really don't like Trump. So he has like, so yeah, stop talking about politics. Stop, talk about fucking culture.
Well,
Do
but
your job.
He's a commie.
Yeah, I know.
He's a commie, and so he wants to push that narrative. He wants to push
That's what I was trying to say in the beginning. Like, what do I want? All Democrats, dude, they're all just communists. If you take the deep state out, they become a minority. And they don't realize that. They don't realize when the uniparty falls and when all the cronies are out, the Democrats are a minority.
I think you're well, yeah, yeah.
Because
And I think-
who's next in line? AOC. And what's she going to advocate for? Versus someone on the right who's going to cut taxes and stop sending money to Ukraine.
Except they're not.
I know they're not. I know. I'm saying when you get rid of the deep state.
The only way we stop sending money to Ukraine is if we vote for Trump.
Yeah, I know.
I hate that.
Says the guy who would openly not vote for Trump if he did something to piss him off. Because most people are kind of like myself, like only Trumpers. Like, there is no one I would consider
Yeah. If he chose Nikki Haley, there's no way I could vote for him because I don't see anything changing. It would just go back to, and I don't think 2016 was perfect. There's a lot of people who think that his presidential thing was perfect, and those people are blind. It was like what I like to say about Trump is easily the best president in my lifetime.
Yeah.
The bar wasn't set real high.
No, I agree. Bar set pretty low. And I think he's like really turned from like a D plus C minus to like a legitimate A. He's set up to be a fantastic president.
Yes, what would I like to see? I would like to see more tax cuts. Obviously, he's talking about the oil stuff. Like, yes, become energy dependent again. Not
I want to know
independent.
How do you have a relationship with Mexico if we're energy independent? Because before Obama and the whole cartel stuff, I don't know. Here's another like conspiracy theory I have. That oil spill in Mexico was 100% on purpose. Like America and Mexico had way too good of a relationship. That oil rig had to fall. And so I don't know how he can claim to have such a good relationship with Mexico if like what exchanges are there to have if not with oil?
They were building a lot of our vehicles.
Oh yeah, you're right. And he doesn't like China.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, there you go. Problem
solved. Also, I think it might be hard to do a lot of business with Mexico because of certain cartel things.
Well, yeah, I'm saying before.
Yeah. Well,
but Trump
the cartel
was
always
repairing
been there.
Yeah, Trump was repairing the relationship with Mexico, and you need to strengthen the state of Mexico so that they can offer actual forms of employment so everyone doesn't just join cartel and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, that's my only criticism of him. But I think Trump is set up to win. You can't stop him. The Democrats have victimized him way too much.
Another thing I'd like to see from Trump is him push back on these absolutely ridiculous, like Brad said earlier, the omnibus spending bill.
Oh yeah.
Push back on that shit.
Is he gonna give money to farmers or like stuff again? Were you against all those like checks that he gave to like farmers and stuff and black people?
I was laid off in December of 2019. I was against the stimmy checks.
Me too.
And I was unemployed.
Me too. Well, no, I wasn't employed, but I was struggling.
I needed it. Yeah. I got a decent what do they call it? Severance package. Right? I was laid off. It was decent, and at the time I was married and she made a little bit of money. So we had those savings. So we had enough for me to go. I started delivering pizzas around April or something. And then I wasn't able to find a replacement to my a job in my career until like August. So that was a rough stretch, but yeah, I was against the stimmy checks.
So I think this is a lot of libertarians, like well-meaning ones, libertarians that I like, were like, oh, Trump spends money too. He's a Democrat. And I'm like, but he spends money in the economy. It's an investment. It's not like a voter block that's going to tank a part of the economy so that they can make crises for themselves to solve. He invests in the community, and he did something really stupid. Those STEMI checks, the pokes, right? He tried to lay up a slam dunk for himself and lost the election.
Yeah,
he was going to follow through with all those things, and he was not focusing on his reelection, which we always criticize presidents for focusing on their reelection instead of doing their job. This time, Trump really was doing his job and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna get reelected, don't worry," and then boom, it all fell apart, and he really set up Joe Biden to do all the stupid stuff that he did.
Yeah. So okay. We're at the 2-hour mark, but I got two more things I want to talk about, and they're both voter thing. One is the Arizona voter issue about not being. I saw Neo was looking into that. where Arizona, here, I'll just pull it up real quick. Where
Well,
you
for-
don't have to be like a citizen in order to get a ballot in Arizona. Well, funnily enough, I caught on to this. And, you know, me being an Arizona resident, I did do some research into this. So as you see here in highlight, if you do not submit proof of citizenship, we cannot acquire your proof of citizenship from Arizona Motor Vehicle Division or the statewide voter registration database. You will receive a federal only ballot, which has only federal races and no state, county, or local
Oh my
races or initiative referendums.
Insane.
So now there was okay. This is a thing. And then on those ballots, it says you'll go to jail if you vote if you're not a citizen, right? Which, okay, it says that, but how do you prove it? If they got their hands on that ballot and they can mail it in or whatever, how do you prove it?
Right.
And there is, and this was done before there was a law passed here where you have to have the ID to vote. That was passed. That was passed last year or the year before, and it's been held back by some court here, and I haven't been able to find out what's actually going on with that. So that is the issue in Arizona, and as you know, we're one of the we're just a border state where people are just walking on in all willy-nilly.
Sometimes they take the bus.
Right. Sometimes they take the bus. Sometimes there's just like 8 of them crammed in the trunk.
Yeah.
Like, you never know.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, that's insane. It's like, oh yeah, you can't vote in local elections, but you can vote for the president. It's like, no, you should be voting for anyone if you're not a citizen.
Jesus.
But I was looking along the lines of the California side of things.
Yes.
And because let's see here. So I've got I'm on the ca.gov website for California. Where it just jumped on me. Where'd it go? Increasing voter access. California has some of the strongest voting laws in the nation and continues to work to make elections more accessible to all. Those things are completely contradictory to each other. You can't have both. It's one or the other. And then when I jump over here to another website,
hold on. I just want to say, when they use the word accessible, I think it confuses people, and for so people with wheelchairs can get better access. You know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah. That's kind of from the video game world, the accessibility.
No, I think you're right.
Software and general accessibility.
I should finish
Mail
because
in
that
ballots.
is what they're that's where they're going with this one. Because if you continue reading on it, it does say allows voters with disabilities to complete a regular ballot outside of any polling place known as curbside voting, and removes the requirement to vote for a voter to declare under oath that they are unable to mark their ballot in order to receive assistance doing so.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with that, but I do have what the hell's curbside voting? Why can't they just go in
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with making for disabilities, okay, because I definitely am against the whole the universal mail-in voting, which is what they did, because I received 2 or 3 ballots myself for the last election.
with your name?
Yeah, I know I got at least 2. I think I got a third.
They wouldn't dare do that with vehicle registration, but they'll do it with the election.
Yeah. So safe and most secure, strongest voting laws in the nation. My ass. I'm okay with the whole disability thing. Yes, you should be able to request a ballot if you're disabled.
Why can't they go into a voting center? Are you telling me all the voting centers they just have stairs?
Well, that's what it means, accessible. There's
There
got to
could
be a ramp.
It's probably.
Why do they have?
a
Why do they have
minority.
to? What's this curbside voting shit? Is this like Chili's where I go and they bring it out to me?
That's essentially what it seems like. But if you're able to do that, but you're unable to mark your ballot to say that you are who you say you are, explain that one to me.
Well, okay, so Ricky Berwick.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's those people who can't use their hands.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Those people definitely, I agree, but I mean that's a very small number of people.
But they would
and,
just
and he could
have
probably
wheelchairs.
hold a pencil. Like I had a buddy who had the hand thing. He didn't have the full wheelchair, but he had the hand thing where he literally could like not bend his fingers, and the motherfucker played the drums. Like,
ooh, I've seen they can use their mouth too. I mean, you can help them get to the booth. Like they should have like spare wheelchairs and stuff like that. If you need one, the volunteers could help you up the ramp so that you can vote. Like, yeah, that's what the volunteers are for.
But the fact that they started this off with California as the strongest voting laws in the nation, get out of here, because
Strongest at winning.
This is both on ca.gov, two different pages on the same site. What to bring to your polling place. In most cases, a California voter is not required to show identification to a polling place worker before casting a ballot. This is from the ca.gov website.
I find it interesting that they also use the qualifier in most places.
Yeah.
So
it should be in all places, or if they're going to keep the sentence the same, a California voter is not required. It should say in no places.
Yeah.
It should be in all places. California voters are required to show identification. You shouldn't be voting if you're not a resident.
Mm-hmm.
What is this?
Oh, it's a kick emoji.
Oh.
But yeah,
it's
just
what's weird is like I want to know what places are requiring you to show your ID. Like, what's going on there? Who are they trying to prevent voting there? Like,
people
you know
who
what I
vote
mean?
for Carrie Lake.
Like,
yeah,
is that only in the Inland Empire where they're
Yep.
requiring?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you only need to show your ID in the red parts of the state, but in the blue parts of the state, no ID required.
Right.
Dude, I can't imagine how many homeless people probably vote in LA. I kid you not, when you drive to downtown LA, there are so many homeless people just walking around, and that's where they vote. If you want to go vote, you can go vote in LA. It's on
here in
I forgot what it's
Sacramento.
called.
Did we have this conversation last Thursday? I feel like this conversation came up recently where I said something about in order to vote, you should own property.
Oh,
And then it was either you or Brad who said pay taxes. You have to pay into taxes in order to vote.
Oh yeah.
I've heard this discussion a bunch.
That was me,
I
bro.
did listen to the last pregame, so I don't know if it was you guys, but
You
I have
cannot
heard that
have food
discussion
stamps
before.
or a EBT card and be voting. Absolutely not.
That
was
yeah,
me.
that's definitely
I
a good
say that
point.
all the time.
Well, and I'd even say because there's those people who get all their tax money back because they just don't make enough, right? They're just getting started, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to vote either. As a matter of fact, they're probably not even paying attention because those are people in their early 20s who didn't go to college. Good on you, by the way.
Thank you.
And you know, they're just trying to get by. So and they're just, you know, if you're not paying into it, no vote. I think that's pretty damn simple.
Yeah.
Because you're not invested.
Yeah, I definitely I don't agree with the own property part.
It made
but-
sense a long time ago until they started taxing property.
So I said that, and I don't technically own property. I think because
But I mean, does anybody own property when you're still paying the government?
right, you've got taxes. I hear
to
you. And even if you have a
borrow
mortgage
the
or
land
whatever,
from them.
Yeah.
right? No, I hear that. But the reason why I was going from the property side is because you are definitely invested on where you're living because
Yeah.
you want it to be better, and you
Right.
don't want it to fall apart like San Francisco and Los Angeles
Yeah.
and Chicago and all those places.
Mhm.
Like that's where I was coming from there. But I am totally
You
willing
know,
to
or a
walk that back
mortgage where
just
you're
for people
tied
who
to
pay
the.
taxes.
You need to be tied to the city that you live in, like even just a mortgage.
Yep. But no, I think we should go to the taxes thing. 18 paying taxes, right? Like you got to be at least 18 years old and paying taxes. I would like to raise the age, but if we're going to add the taxes qualifier, I'm fine with it being 18.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good thing.
Man,
It will never
yeah.
happen,
The whole problem is the taxes and how much they steal from us
Mm-hmm.
because they can't keep their hands out of our pockets, and then
Yep.
they have to go and spend it recklessly and send it to other countries.
Right.
Well, that's the thing.
How come more people aren't frustrated about that? Like,
I don't know.
I don't get it. I have some friends who are conservative-ish.
I don't
but
think
they-
Biden.
one of them has TDS,
Uh,
and so they voted for Biden, and it's like, aren't you upset? And like they're financial. They have a pretty good financial IQ, right?
mhm.
And it's like, don't you see where this money's going? It's money laundering. 400 million to Pakistani gender studies is money laundering.
Money laundering. Yeah.
Kiss my ass, man. That is money laundering.
It's to give these countries money so that they can buy our guns and our oil, and the government makes money from all that.
Yeah, a lot of the problem isn't how much we're spending; it's what we're spending it on.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Trump. I don't think Biden ever actually gave the money to the black farmers because he couldn't find them.
There is a thing where
Was
the
he
spending
looking?
bills only go up. They never go down. They never stay the same. They only go up. And that's and so Trump was the first one to sign the $1 trillion spending deal.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, good job, because that never changes. You can't walk that back.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, and so in my mind, when I saw that, I was like, okay, if Trump's willing to do this, what the hell is the next person going to be okay with? Right.
Yeah.
Trump's supposed to be, the more grounded one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But it's what you spend it on too.
Oh well, it was who knows what it was all spent on. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
who's going to read that?
Well, a
You
lot
have
of
to
it
pass
was
it to find out what's in it.
You know what? I want
There's a lot of
someone should
border
put, like
stuff.
someone should put like one of those spending bills into Chat GPT and say, "Hey, can you digest this to me into like a 10-minute read?"
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah,
I'm
here's
sure a
this
lot of it was
giant
border.
bill. You have 30 minutes to read it, and then you have to vote on it. Are you serious?
Well, yeah. I thought you were saying.
I mean, it's obviously not that short, but
wait,
no, but like you get these giant bills, and they're like supposed to vote on it in like a day. It's like,
yeah,
these
I
things
have
are
a
so
great
long; it takes a
idea.
week to read through it.
Well, and then part of our taxes go to all those people they have to hire to read through it, and it's like,
yep.
If they even,
Oh, they made fun of Marjorie.
Well, we
take
hired
the time
you
to
for.
read through it.
They
Isn't that what we hired you for? Isn't
they
that
used
what
to
we
make
voted
fun of Marjorie Taylor Greene because she said like, "Hey, we need to propose the voting because I couldn't finish the bill last night." And they made fun of her that she was a slow reader, low IQ. She couldn't read that giant bill in one
I
night.
bet all the rest of those people didn't even bother reading it, and just like,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay, I have a great idea. The Speaker of the House should just be Chat GPT. Statics. I'm joking. He's
what could
considering
go
it.
wrong?
He's considering it. Look at that face.
I mean, unfortunately, it's known that ChatGPT is compromised politically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from say if it was actually unbiased and a neutral stance, that'd be an interesting experiment.
Well, if you make all the bills in neutral terms, you can get around it.
Yeah, oh, it's like, oh, the freaking props. It's like, do you not want to not vote for this? It's like, can you just say it that everyone can understand? No,
Yeah.
you have to. The only way to get your props passed is to confuse everyone so they don't know whether they're voting yes, I want it, or yes, I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's another thing that should change.
All right,
It's been an
gentlemen.
epic
So,
first show.
as I was suspecting, we had a ton of things to talk about. We didn't even get to go. Like, I wanted to talk about like the New Hampshire prospects and like all of that. We've discussed, for anyone who's still watching, the three of us have discussed we might jump on for something quick when they start coming up with numbers coming out of New Hampshire, because I think that would be kind of fun. And yeah, I want to pay. I'm really hoping that Trump just smashes it home. Like,
Me too.
like,
Oh, one other thing that
Bro.
I mean, we could probably do a whole stream just on this, but it's just absurd. this was from a couple weeks ago. California becomes first state to offer health insurance to undocumented immigrants.
Oh no, it's even worse than that. It's gender
Excellent use of our
affirming.
tax money.
Oh yeah,
No. It's gender affirming care as well.
Yeah. Insane.
They pay for, which is actually, here's the funny thing. They're going to be paying for T-pills for immigrants, but every time, dude, when I go to like the pharmacy, there's always a tranny that can't afford their pills.
Oh.
And I'm like,
I thought you were picking some up for yourself.
No. But I'm like, you voted for this. You can't afford your T-pills, and then some immigrant walks
Because
in
they
here
want
and
it for
gets
free.
free.
The people who are signing up for that are the ones who want Bernie Sanders in so they can get that shit for free.
That was funny, dude, because a lot of Bernie bros became Trump supporters because they were upset with the Democrats, and then
which is something. So when that happened, I was kind of expecting a little bit of that. Not surprised because they were the populist left.
Yeah. And now they're all air quote conservatives when they're actually not conservatives. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
And all the popular effective conservatives right now were once liberals. All of them. Tim Pool. Yeah, my brain's fried, but most Scott Presley, Candace Owens. I mean, you can name the list, dude. There's so many liberals that are air quote conservatives now that are more effective.
I don't want to be a conservative. I don't want to be a liberal. I just want to be.
We're not.
I just want to be a freaking person.
We're populist, bro.
Like,
we're a populist fighting communism. That is it.
Yeah, I just want to stand for freedom. That's all that I care.
That's all it is.
Freedom is the only thing I care about.
Yep.
I'm a bit of an anarcho-capitalist, and like I'm not like dying on that hill.
You
or
still need a government to enforce property laws, though. That's its only job.
The government who won't even protect their own property.
Yeah,
you can go to civil war with the federal going, federal going to war with Texas over their state borders.
Oh, that dude,
so
yeah.
actually, so
Texas, Samuel.
Okay, real quick, the Texas thing. Spend a little time looking into that. So that was literally on the they could cut down the barbed wire fence, the feds, right? But the Fifth Circuit still needs to hear the actual case on its merits. There's still a chance Texas wins. So this is Amy Coney Barrett. I think her first name's Amy. I don't remember. Don't give a shit.
God,
that broad that got in with Trump.
Yeah,
at the end.
She's
never the one whose feelings were hurt about people possibly cutting themselves getting over the border.
Yeah,
that's all that it was about. There's no Tim pooling yet. We'll use that. Well, that will be our phrase for the Civil War. No Tim pooling event.
Tim pooling. I agree with Tim Pool on that. Honestly, I agree with. I've always agreed with him.
I do too, but there's a part of me that like doesn't admit it fully because I think that there's a lot of black pills in that. There's a ton of black pill in that.
I don't have the black pill one. It's just we're in an information war, and we are in an information civil war. We are in it currently.
Oh, I will agree with that. Yes.
That's because that's another thing. He will be clickbaity and he'll do the clips and he'll be like radical, but right after the clip is over, he'll say that. He'll explain his thoughts, but his explanations aren't in the clips or the videos. It's in the live stream.
Well, this has been an awesome first episode.
Dude, this is awesome show, dude.
Both of you for joining me. We will definitely be back 2 weeks from today. I got to talk with the guys about more. Like, I would love for you guys if you could come on for a little bit tomorrow whenever they start putting numbers. I know you guys are busy.
I'll be up late and playing Pal Worlds. That's cool, but I'll be on.
Yeah. So if anything, maybe I jump on by myself. I really just need to do a solo stream at some point in time and just do it. Just to do it. But how about Nerdy Neo? Let the people know what you got going on. Also, I've got links for these two fine gentlemen in the description. Please click on those. Go give them a sub.
Yeah, so I appreciate you come check me out at my Nerdy Neo channel. The only thing you'll find over there is video game related stuff. That's all I do on my channel. And it's mostly video game discussion. Sometimes I stream games, but not that much. It's mainly talking about games. Because that's one of my favorite things to do is talking about video games behind actually playing them. I just don't play them on stream very often. So I typically do every Thursday night what I call open mic, and it's usually I'll have a guest on. I actually had Shaka Zulu on just recently, and that's how this came to be, because we were talking after he was on. He's like, hey, would you want to go on Static's channel and talk politics? I'm like, sure. And then it turned into this show. Static was on a while ago, but I just have people on. We just talk about video games. And then every other Saturday, I have my party chat where we talk about fun video game topics like most annoying characters or hardest game you ever beat or what's the game you've spent the most hours in. Fun stuff like that. So
you have the most perfect co-host for that show.
Yes. And so my co-host with that is Mark Cyborg. And because
that's crazy.
I only started my channel back in June. So it's what am I at about 8 months now? A little probably about 7 months, I think. Whatever. 7 months ish. But I've followed Mark for a number of years, and I've wanted to start my channel for years. I just didn't have the time due to personal life stuff, but schedule finally changed and I was able to have a little bit of free time. So I started my channel. I was like, I had my idea for my party chat stream years before I started my channel. And like when I start my channel, that's what I'm going to do is my party chat. And if there's anybody on the internet I want to get as a co-host, it's Martha Cyborg. So he's like, I was able to get him on. So he's an awesome co-host because he's like the most knowledgeable gamer I think I've ever come across.
Such a wealth of knowledge, and then he could just talk talk about
so but yeah, him, and then Ryan from Legion Games is my other co-host, and then we usually have a guest host on every week.
The leash you keep on Ryan is impressive. He must really like collaborating with you because that boy's a sailor. And so are we, but
yeah, I try to keep it pretty family friendly.
Ryan's awesome, dude.
But those are the main things that I do on my channel. I am going to this week, I'm not gonna have sort of. Like I was saying, typically open mic on Thursday night is just me and someone talking about games. But I call it open mic because it's there's not really any ever planned, no scheduled topics or anything, and I can kind of do whatever I want with it. So this week, I'm actually going to be streaming a game on Thursday night for open mic, and I'm going to be having one of my buddies, DJ Axis, in my ear talking with me while I'm playing.
Oh, nice.
Because DJ is one of my good buddies, and he is a fellow huge fan of Mega Man. I'm a big Mega Man fan. And he has been doing over the last couple months, he's been doing Mega Man Mondays. And so he recently played through Mega Man X and X2. He hasn't played through Mega Man X3 on stream. I know he's played it before in the past, but Mega Man X3 is my favorite Mega Man. And just on Sunday night, one of my other buddies, Nerdporial Lifeform, was playing Mega Man X3. And I don't know if he had ever even played X3 before. But anyways, X3 is my favorite. And I've got a couple of buddies who are big into Mega Man who have been streaming Mega Man. I'm like, all right, I need to stream Mega Man. So I'm going to be doing Mega Man X3 and kind of giving DJ Axis basically strategies and tips and stuff for when he does X3, because he's not terribly familiar with the X3 as well. So I'm going to be doing playing Mega Man X3 on Thursday with DJ Axis. Talking, being my co-host, my co-pilot, and I'm going to be helping prepare him for when he goes through Mega Man X3. And then, my next episode of Party Chat will be, like I said, it's every other Saturday. It'll be this upcoming Saturday. And the guest on this week's Party Chat is Words of Paradise, which, I don't know. Were some of you guys? No. I was like, I saw he was live earlier today with some of my other internet friends, like Beard of Liberty was on there with him.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I wasn't on there, but yeah, I know what show you're talking about. I saw that too.
Yeah, and I just found out about Words of Paradise because he was on Nerdporial's channel on Friday for his Chillporia, which is kind of like my open mic. And I was like, I like this guy. I got to get him on. So I messaged him.
Oh,
Hey,
nice.
you want to party
Hell
chat?
yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Hell
so
yeah.
that's what I got going on my channel this week.
He's a lot of fun. We might have to do another open mic soon too, because I'm playing like 6 games right now.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And open mic is literally open to anyone. You want to come on and talk video games with me? Let me know. We'll make it happen. Like I said, it's typically Thursday night, but I can move that around to accommodate schedules. So, but yeah, pretty much the only thing you're going to find on my channel is video games. That's the only thing I do and talk about there. So,
Dude,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yes.
Neo
Those-
is a great it's great to have him part of the fellowship because we need to take culture back. And it's good to have shows that just focus on culture. And
Well-
you're not afraid to speak your mind on other people's platforms so people know that you don't hate them for what they believe in. We need more of that. So I love that you keep your show politic free
Yes.
and you're not afraid to speak your mind outside of it.
Yeah.
Genres are important. We need to go back to genres.
I know. I wish we could just have one game come out and not need to be politicized over something.
I typically steer free of the whole culture war stuff too on my channel.
Yeah,
Sometimes
no,
it comes up,
that's fine.
which
I
is
think
fine.
that's great. Like,
But yeah, I
Personally,
typically
I'm getting
steer
real-
clear of that, and I mostly talk about the good stuff, the positive, the stuff we love about games. The worst stuff I typically talk about is when we have a party chat topic, like what's the worst game you ever played? Fun.
That's still
stuff,
fun.
not like negative stuff.
So
I try to
you're
keep it
talking
pretty
like
positive.
funny terrible, not like Last of Us 2 terrible.
yeah, it's enjoyable, terrible.
Yeah, it's enjoyable terrible. Absolutely.
Which I don't even think we've actually talked about the worst game you ever played on Party Chat yet. So that'll be a topic
There you
at
go.
some point.
I can remember playing the worst game ever, but I can't remember what it was called.
Can you describe it?
I just
What was it
remember
like?
nothing worked. I just remember like
That doesn't really help.
I know you had like abilities, and then
What
when you would,
platform was it on?
it was definitely PlayStation 2 or was it
okay.
PS3?
It was a busted ass.
It was a
and it
busted
didn't
PS2 game, and I'm trying to think what I think it was. I don't remember. Oh wow. This is so funny. I can remember the feeling, but I can't
It's
remember
like-
it.
It's funny because it's like I'm not like super knowledgeable on movies, but I'm really good with like names and stuff and stuff. So like a lot of times my family like they don't know like names of movies or actors or anything. They're like, oh yeah, I saw this movie. I'm like, oh, what was it called? They're like, I don't know. Like, oh, who was in it? I don't know. What was it about? I don't know. It's like, well, gee, that really helps. So I'll often have to tell them whether they've seen a movie or not. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, it was this movie and these people were in it and it came out this year. So I'm good with that kind of stuff. So if you give me something to work with, I could probably figure it out. But yeah, you're not really giving me a whole lot to work with.
I'm so
Tony
shocked I'm not the one
Blundetto.
getting bullied, and I'm a fucking anime cat.
Hey, Ghetto.
I'm not familiar with this person. Are you guys?
Subscribe to my channel. Welcome to the show. You've missed it.
Only on Tuesdays, you bitch.
Yeah, on Dermy's live streams.
So after yes, go sub to Neo. If you like video games, he's
Yes.
a channel you need to be there for. Shock, what have you got going on?
Videos will come, I promise. I got ideas, I got scripts, I got edited clips. It's just I do it all part-time, and my videos have a lot of editing. So videos soon. I'm playing Power Worlds whenever I get the chance. Probably Tuesday. Tomorrow with you, we'll talk about the counts and then some late night Power Worlds with Dermy. Subscribe to my Kick, Shaka Zulu 1. Videos to come soon. Hope you enjoyed the show, guys. Good night, everyone.
Yes, go subscribe to Shock. Shock has better videos than me. That's for sure.
What?
Like,
No.
Me too.
Your Spider-Man video. You've got good
That's
videos.
because I don't put out
Ah,
videos.
thank you. Nah, I like your guys' videos.
So I might actually have a video coming out. Joy
Yes.
Reid is a retard, and I need to cover what
You okay? Your videos are awesome when
We
you
need a
roast
video on
people.
that.
You need to roast people more in your videos.
Okay.
I love when you go on rants.
Because the Joy Reid did something very stupid, supporting a disgusting book, and she tried.
Oh,
yeah.
that.
Anyways, she did a thing. I've got to make a video on that. Otherwise, you can catch back on this same channel Thursday at 5:30 Pacific time, the weekend pregame, where we will be discussing. As of right now, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about tiny apartments in New York City. And we're going to talk about Dana White standing up for freedom of speech once again.
Oh, that was
and
great.
Anything else clown world that comes up between now and then. Thank you, everyone, for watching the first episode of Bloodbath. And we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks and maybe tomorrow.
All right,
Everyone
that was
wave
fun.
to the camera awkwardly and say bye.